Excuse me.
Wow, 116 episodes.
Wow. You know what, Nathan? I always forget this show doesn't have an intro, so I'm just waiting here, waiting for like an intro. Whatever happened to our? What did we have for a long time? The Fast and Furious one. The Welcome to the Movies?
The movies, because we did those during the commentaries because there were like we watched 9 films.
Yeah, that was a lot
at the time.
Yeah.
I remember I did make a prototype intro, but it was way too long because there was so many. Because there's so many films. If you didn't know,
I never knew that. Yeah.
And I was trying to appease all 3 of our sensibilities.
Yeah, I remember thinking like we did some in the shop in our minds. We had like the Spider-Man Bell one where it's like yeah. Like that could be our announcement. Yeah. What else do we think of? We thought of some other stuff across the pond. You never know. But yeah, good times. Good times. Yeah. So yeah, this episode stacked because last week we broke down the Monarch finale. Did my mic peak there for some? The Monarch finale, Percy Jackson episode 6, and then a lot of other movie news. But those 2 shows kind of took up a lot of time, and there's still a lot of stuff that we didn't get to from last week, on top of everything that dropped, or stuff that we didn't get to last week that was kind of like 2 weeks ago from this recording. And then stuff that happened last week is now relevant. And then stuff that happened today is now relevant. But speaking of today, I think before we can even jump into our favorite demigod of all time, we could talk about the casting that just dropped literally 2-3 hours ago. Breaking news has arrived.
Breaking news, Nathan needs to Photoshop some bullshit. No, I like that.
Okay, yeah, sorry, just sending the tweet out. But yeah, I'm super happy. I think this might be my favorite casting. So you clever motherfucker. I'm super happy. MILLY Alcock is officially Supergirl, and this is crazy to me because last week, we were narrowing it down between MILLY Alcock, Meg Donnelly, who voiced the character in a lot of Supergirl animated projects, on top of not Meg Ryan. Let me think of Meg Ryan. The girl from Coda. The woman from Coda. She was also, those 3 were kind of like the big 3 in the running. There were some other ones, and I said, of course, I really wanted to be MILLY. She was phenomenal in House of the Dragon. It's the only thing I've seen her in. It's the first half of House of the Dragon. Spoiler alert, she's not in the second half. Time jump. Yeah. Emma D'Arcy plays the older version of Rhaenyra Targaryen. But younger Rhaenyra, played by MILLY, was just fucking great. It's one of those great casting where you've never seen this actress before, but she captures a character so well with so much nuance and levity that you're just like, I really want to see her do anything else. It's kind of like the same feeling I had with like Caitlin Dever when I first watched Booksmart. I'm like, oh wow, she's incredible. But stuff never goes our way with casting. Sometimes you get the lucky ones where you get like Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. That was like perfect, like casting from the page. But yeah,
I was on the school bus and I saw, and then like a week before, because I was, I wake up at 6 a.m. I stand in the cold at the bus stop listening to AMC Movie Talk.
It sounds so young. This was easily like 2014. Right?
I know. That's like a decade ago.
I was graduating high school. Anyways.
Fucking A. Anyway, I remember it was probably a week before the actual Bandit casting, but I remember seeing a headline. It was like, it looks like it's for sure Joaquin Phoenix is Doctor Strange, and I was like, no. Even though like I was unfamiliar with this game, and no doubt Joaquin would be an interesting choice. I know a lot of people were pining for it, but I was a big off of watching Sherlock, so I loved Benedict Cumberbatch, and also he was Smaug in the Hobbit movie, so I was like, that man or bust. And
Smaug,
he's good.
Number 1 credit, Smaug.
You did the mocap, baby.
He did.
Great actor. So obviously it worked out for me, but I was scared for a second.
And people were like, "Oh, boring choice. Fuck off. You're what makes something boring? And I think in people's heads, what's boring is like everybody guesses it and they're right, and that's what they get. It's like, yeah, everybody guessed it because people had the right idea that they look and can act the part. So it was weird. But anyways, similar to that casting, I was like, okay, it doesn't usually go our way. And it's usually somebody out of left field. Like Tom Holland was out of left field. But MILLY Alcock, I'm so happy that she got the role. I think this is a universally beloved choice for a lot of people. There are some people under some of the comments being like, I wish it was Meg, respect for DC animation. Which, she already was Supergirl. If she voiced the character, good job to you. That should just want more people to watch the animated projects. DC animation has some hits, a lot of misses, but has some hits. So I'm sure Meg was really good at voicing the character in animation. But I'm just excited for MILLY to be a fresh face. And this is off the heels of The Flash, by the way, which I thought Sasha Cow was great as the Flash, but she kind of got served a horrible mixture of events there where the press leading up to the movie was awful. She was the only one doing press, which I commend her about. Because it couldn't have been Michael Keaton. He was busy, I guess, and the other stuff was messy. But
which is wild when you stop and remember like how her screen time is fairly minimal in that movie.
Extremely minimal. It was like you expect her to be so much more pivotal to the narrative, given the trailers, given everything that we've seen and all the hype leading up to it. And I was kind of underwhelmed by her arc, but I thought she was really good in the movie as a performance. But it's hard to glean that in a messy movie like The Flash. And unfortunately, she had a one and done thing in MILLY's neck. So I really wanted Sasha to be the next Supergirl, but MILLY is a great fresh face, a fresh choice. I'm super happy about that. Yeah,
man, the world finest movie we could have had between Sasha and
Henry,
our Batgirl that we had.
Oh gosh, wow! Why am I forgetting her name? Batgirl. There's her with the L. Crap. Let me look up In the Heights, because if you guys have not seen
In the Heights cast,
it's fantastic. I think it was easily my top 5 movie of 2021. She's not on.
Leslie Grace
on the cast. There we go. Thank you. Where is she at on? Why is she 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? She's 13th on the Google cast sheet. Come on, Google. Yeah. Is Ariana Greenblatt in this movie? Huh.
Is she?
What? Who was she in the Heights? She must have been like 14 in that movie, 13.
Neighbor.
She must have been one of the. Maybe she was one of the kids on the beach or whatever.
No, that's too young. Sure.
What a great agent! And from In the Heights to 65, Nathan's favorite movie, 65. And then
I was looking so forward to that, man.
Me too, man. I'm like, because the funny thing about 65, quick tangent, is that like we all knew going in this is supposed to be a ridiculous movie, right? Like we know this is a crazy, ridiculous premise, but it sounds cool and it has.
Was that one of the ones that was like executive producer Sam Raimi?
Was it? Maybe.
I think so. Not just
I think
Crawl.
so too.
I know Crawl was, but I think
Crawl Beneath My Skin.
Yeah.
Shout out to Linkin Park. But that movie just floundered everything. It was bad. My dad loved it though. He thought that was awesome.
I felt messed up. I was like, what do you mean I'm bored and it's 90 minutes? That's not me. Who am I?
So bored, so tired. Remember when one of the main characters dies like during his sleep or something like that, or his family?
One of the
died?
4?
Like it was weird. It was like, yeah. Anyways, movies lack any kind of interest. But Leslie Grace, we could have Leslie Grace and Sasha Cow as like a world's finest. Man, the what ifs were so
We could
close.
still have Leslie Grace if they wanted. Like the world is not
Definitely.
seen.
And yeah, the Bat family is theoretically huge, and we can kind of get into this real quick. Some theory casting. But one of the other people
I think was Brave and the Bold is supposed to be pretty Bat family centric, isn't it?
Brave and the Bold is supposed to be very Bat family centric with a decently older Bruce. James has been back and forth on what age we're looking at for Bruce here, but he has it's not going to be Robin. We're looking at, or not, it's going to be Robin. He's with Robin, but it's going to be not Dick and not Tim and not Jason. It was going to be Damian Wayne, his son, biologically from Talia al Ghul. Yes. And, in that context, we could have already a Batgirl. I'm very curious to see what kind of Barbara we get. But I'm very fond of Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. Not the one from Birds of Prey, even though I like that movie. Not really my kind of cast. But the crazy assassin Batgirl, Cassandra Cain. That's what I want. Watch Young. I always reference Young Justice has like the peak renditions, adaptations of these characters, but Cassandra Cain as Batgirl, I think, is introduced in season 3 of Young Justice, and she's great in season 3 and season 4. But either way, we get to see Leslie Grace in that kind of Bat family, and that wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility. I would love that. But yeah, also wanted to bring up like MILLY Alcock, Supergirl, Hollywood Reporter. Somebody mentioned it could begin filming as soon as later this year. We know her first appearance is going to be in next year's July Superman, whatever Legacy. The movie is called. Legacy. It's just Superman Legacy. That's it.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Pretty tired.
Dawn of Krypton.
The movie titles at the end was like Legacy or Resurrection or whatever R word. It's kind of played out at this point.
Superman Legacy, the Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so she's going to be in that movie, probably in like 1 minute of screen time, if that. Very curious to see how they bring her in, but this whole cast is getting bigger and bigger.
I could see her having a small appearance like during the Krypton evacuation because they were both supposed to be sent together, right?
No. I guess it depends what kind of adaptation they're going for. Yeah, this is interesting to me because I have not read the Road of Tomorrow Supergirl run, but isn't that like a more of a space run, and it spins a Supergirl tail on his head? I thought Supergirl arrived first, and then Superman came. So I don't know if they left at the same time.
Because I know in the iteration I'm recalling is like they get sent together because Kara's supposed to watch over Cal, but they get split. I think she gets sucked into some sort of vortex where like time throws things off. Possibly they could go a route where that happens and she's lost in space and she first gets accustomed to the universe before arriving to Earth, and then she has to get familiar with how Earth works through Cal.
This just brought to mind, could World of Tomorrow, the Supergirl movie, could that be a prequel before she arrives on Earth? Or is she going to be on Earth in the movie, Superman Legacy, and then she goes on her intergalactic Supergirl World of Tomorrow movie? Again, I have not read the comics, so I don't know the context of her comic. But
maybe they could end the movie with her arrival to set up future adventures with them, and then do the movie on her own that then leads to that connecting event.
Yeah. So, like you're saying, make it a kind of like a prequel.
Yeah.
I guess that works. Yeah, like in between all. Kind of setting up like where she was before we see her in the movie. Because I guess that would be kind of weird for her to say like, "Hey, Cal, she's on Earth," and then she goes to do whatever, wherever she could be in World of Tomorrow. But yeah, this is another reminder for me to read that comic run. But yeah, also, again, it said she could be filming that movie, her own solo movie, by the end of the year, which is crazy to me because I thought like we know next year is Superman, and Creature Commandos is also supposed to be next year as well. That's gotten far into casting, but Creature Commandos is going to be like a TV thing. But in terms of movies, it's going to be Superman in 2025, and that's it, I think. I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, I think that might be it. But then we know Batman the Brave and the Bold is coming. The Supergirl movie is coming. And is Swamp Thing, I think, is also a movie, not a TV show. I forget which one that is.
I think it's a movie.
I think it's a movie too. But that's James Mangold. He's doing Star Wars. What's first? You never really know. But yeah, so I think either Batman or Supergirl could be first, but we have no idea who is Batman, who is Damian, in any of the Bat family casting that we just talked about. So it's very likely that Supergirl could be the next DCU movie in the DC Phase 1 of Gods and Monsters, as James calls it. And it could arrive as soon as 2026, which would be very early for me. But not really early because they have a writer. I forget who the writer's name is now, but they have a writer on board. They have the main cast on board, or main character on board. All they need is a director, and you'll be off to the shooting. So that could happen as early as filming it next year. I could see them filming early next year for a 2026 release. So it's very possible that Supergirl could be the next movie instead of Batman Brave and the Bold, which is pretty unique to me. But it's also very similar to what the MCU did. Start off not a popular. Iron Man wasn't popular, but start off hot with your first big movie, Iron Man, and then do your Thor and Captain America, which
even then we got an Iron Man 2 for the third entry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true.
Quick along.
Yeah, they're very quick with that. I doubt that'll happen with Superman. I don't know when the Superman sequel will come out. Probably 2028. They probably wouldn't do every. If it comes out next year, I don't know. Yeah.
When's the Batman Part 2 supposed to come out?
Next year, October. No, not October. Okay. Yes, October. Yes, October. Yes, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know if maybe they wanted to have some space between Batman entries.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
How also do we convey to the public, hey, we got two Batman again, which was no problem to the first Batman. It's just
yeah, it shouldn't be
Batman having to prove itself.
I agree. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. I think in terms of James's head, Matt wants to do a trilogy, at least as far as we know. If there could be more, fantastic. But I think Matt is comfortable. Matt Reeves, the director, is comfortable with doing a trilogy. So start off the 2025 Part 2. When did the first one come out? 2022 for Batman?
Yeah, 22.
So every 3 years. So we can get the next Batman in 2028. In between that, get audiences introduced to the Brave and the Bold Batman. So I think they only can be confused. They'll only be confused with one entry, and then they'll be on board. I think again, audience confusion hardly ever plays a role into these movies. People will ask the question, of course, it's okay, but it's once they see a commercial, they're like, oh,
yeah.
Well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be big marketing for Superman Legacy, introducing this brand new world as established heroes, and whenever they get to their Brave and the Bold movie, they'll kick it off and probably have a reference to events of Metropolis and show a face of Superman or something like that. Just the wider world that's currently existing, where hopefully Superman Legacy is a big success and audiences are aware we're on a fresh kick.
Speaking of Superman Legacy, and Cillian and MILLY Alcock there, and a lot of other people there, I always forget. Let me look up the release dates again, because I believe Thunderbolts comes in the same month as Superman Legacy. Let me see here. Superman Legacy comes out July 11th, and 2 weeks later, July 25th, is Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts
2 weeks into the run of Superman. Yeah, it needs to bump over a little.
Far away.
In beginning, middle August?
August on I go on first showing.net, and August 2025 is currently blank. So no major.
Okay, so yeah, I would go at least a month after Legacy or early September. Yeah. I don't know what's in September, but
Shang-Chi did very well on that Labor Day. When's Labor Day? September 2nd.
Released in September.
There we go. September 2nd is Labor Day. Make Thunderbolts come out on Labor Day. You get Labor Day weekend. If it's good, you can get that extra day. If it's bad, you get the extra day. You're good. So yeah, I think benefit there.
I'm very curious to see how Thunderbolts does marketing wise, because I mean, if not a lot of people are turning out for the Marvels, I don't know how many people are turning around for Thunderbolts. It's like, hey, there's Bucky, cool, and the rest.
That's an interesting question. We can, we'll stay Percy Jackson for a little bit now, but now I want to talk about this, Nathan. Because we can. I want
the MCU to be successful again.
I think for Foggy's like, right now we're in the trenches. This is like no man's land, World War One. We're in the trenches right now. But all they need is a banger from DC or Marvel, I think, to be a banger.
What was supposed to come first? Captain America or Thunderbolts? Isn't Captain America supposed to come first?
Currently, it's supposed to come first. Yes.
Because aren't they supposed to kind of work in tandem? Aren't they?
Presumably, in terms of like the threats of the what's it called? The injected superheroes. What do we call them? I don't know.
Super Soldier.
Super Soldier. Yeah, that Super Soldier idea, I think might be a lingering idea for Cap and Thunderbolts. So Thunderbolts is July 25th. Cap is on where you at, Cap? Where's my I don't see you, Cap. There it is. February 14th next year? Is that right still?
February.
February is Cap. May is Fantastic Four. July is Thunderbolts. I guess that makes sense. Okay. Oh, and then November is still Blade, presumably. Are they doing 4 movies next year, MCU? Yeah, I'd like to see it try. But is Blade going to be delayed again? Probably not. Man.
It's interesting Blade's November, because you would think October would be the prime.
You would think. October is Batman Part 2, so you might want to skedaddle.
Right. I just mean, vampires.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I forgot to do an all for it. Captain America is just doing reshoots right now, so it can definitely fit that February 14th date. Fantastic Four hasn't even had a cast announced yet. Probably very, very soon we'll get the cast. Maybe the next T episode will have the cast.
At this rate, probably Comic-Con.
No way they wait that long. Really? Nobody just
announce
it on
Twitter.
What are we bringing to Comic-Con?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll leak by scoopers.
Fantastic Four. If they start, no, they can't delete. They can't show anything Fantastic Four related. They haven't even started filming yet. So
I'm sure they'll show 2025 footage from
Captain America footage for sure. Captain America footage, and then say, hey, show the cast out on stage for Fantastic Four, even though it'll probably be announced or leaked by then. We already probably have a pretty good idea in terms of Eben from The Bear playing the thing. The guy from Stranger Things is Human Torch. The guitar guy from season 4, I forget his name. Vanessa Kirby as Sue, and then Joseph Quinn. Thank you. Vanessa Kirby as Sue, and then Pedro as Reed, which people still hate. And then I don't care either. Yeah.
They can't help themselves with their slate, so I imagine they want to get a fresh, this is the slate.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's insane how many times since 2019 that with all the changes of release dates, I don't know where the slate stand, what projects are still coming, what's at a
it's crazy.
When am I getting the Ironheart show? It's
Hollywood got done a shit deal because of the COVID and then the strikes. Even though the strikes, that was on them, but COVID it wasn't. So
2 strikes, right? Two separate strikes.
2 strikes. SAG and WGA went on for plus 100 days each. But yeah, I want to go back to you because you said I want the MCU to go back to being successful, and if Marvel's opens up to what did it do 38 million opening weekend? I forget what it opened up with, but it was not great, Bob. The weakest MCU film box office wise. Even below Incredible Hulk 2008. what hope does Thunderbolts have? If Thunderbolts is released next month, it is bombing, completely bombing. Nobody would care. But I'm very curious to see what Thunderbolts does here. But I think and I would say if we get some successful comic book movies in 2024 this year, then that will definitely help Thunderbolts. But looking at the slate, oh, can you hear me? You're a little bit frozen. Try coming out and coming back in if you can hear me. If that wouldn't end the stream. Maybe you just have to refresh his connection. I'll keep on talking to fill the air here. But yeah, looking at the slate here, if 2024, Nathan, I see you now. You're back.
I'm back.
You're back. There you go.
It's bombing.
Yeah. Oh, that's where you last heard me. Bombing.
Yeah. It opens next month. You said.
Yeah. Like if it opens next month, Thunderbolts is bombing. I said. But if 2024 has a successful run of comic book movies, then that'll definitely help the next year, obviously. But Sony is doing their damnedest to make this not happen. With Madam Web coming out in under a month now, that probably won't do that well. Kraven's not looking too hot. Is Venom this year as well? Venom 3, is that still coming out this year?
I don't think so.
Let me see. I think it is. It's October.
Isn't
Let's see
Kraven
here.
this year?
Kraven's this year, yeah. Venom.
Yeah, so
3.
I don't think they're putting Venom this year.
Venom 3. Yeah, it's not this year.
They're shooting.
I guess it's
know that.
Maybe it's next year. But Venom 3 says November 3rd. Or November 8th on my calendar.
What?
Yeah. November 8th. So I guess, they're already shooting, if they end it by next 2 months and then edit within the next other 2 months, they can have something cooked there. But yeah, Venom, Kraven, and Madam Web all coming out this year. Probably to middling degrees of success. Venom probably the most successful one, but those have never been all great movies. But then Deadpool 3, we'll see how that does. Could Madam Web affect Deadpool 3? You never know how people's perception of comic movies are. If it's good, people will come, though. If it's good, people will come. So, yeah.
I think it has an edge just because of the fact, not only have the Deadpool films been very successful, but also the fact that Hugh Jackman is not only back as Wolverine, but it's probably the only time we're actually going to get the two interacting to the degree that people have always wanted.
Exactly. Do you think it'll have a No Way Home Rampage success, or does Hugh Jackman level up to a Toby and Andrew? Probably not.
I think no, but not that far away. I think Hugh is obviously a big pull. We're talking at this point 24 years of playing said character. I think it's the longest comic book casting run, right? Maybe.
I believe so. Yeah.
For at least film. And Toby and Andrew, they were all interesting cases because they rebooted in quicker succession around each other. So you had multiple fans growing up together, and you're pulling from all those different eras of semi-different generational levels, all pulling together into one. But also Hugh has carried through all of those consistently. So it's
you never really know. Yeah, it's a very big enigma. If I had to guess right now, the other two Deadpools, I believe, opened at the 150 range, I think, 160, 150 range, becoming the two of the biggest R-rated openings of all time. If I had to guess with this one, probably around where Guardians 3 did. 120, 115, that area is my assumption.
Because there's also the R-rated hurdle.
But it didn't affect the other two.
For sure. But it could probably be always wider if that wasn't the case.
Oh, most definitely, of course, yeah. But I'm just taking into account the diminishing returns on the genre of comic book movies as a whole, and
Yeah.
I just think, 'cause I think Guardians Volume 2 opened to like 147, but then Guardians 3, a much better movie in my opinion, opened up to like 110, 120 barely. Um, so and I think it's just going to keep on going a little bit down, but I think it might have legs if Deadpool 3 is successful, despite the little bit. I think either way, it's opening up to above 100 million, which is a big success these days.
I'm sure they'll also have some jokes in marketing about the whole idea of current superhero situations. Audience would be like, "Oh, I feel that way too. This could be a good one. Let me go in." Shit like that.
100%. I can't wait to see that. Hopefully, Super Bowl, maybe.
Also, I mean, in saying that, Hugh has been carrying this character for so long. It has been 7 years since we last saw him.
I hurt myself today. Yes.
Trailer. I remember where I was. Where were you when
the trailer dropped?
When the trailer dropped?
In my college room dorm at night, because it leaked. Remember that happened? It leaked at night, and then was it the next morning it came out?
I think so.
I forget what happened.
I was I was 1 year into YouTube, baby, bright-eyed and fucking waking up and reacting.
It's always so funny watching your early YouTube videos because you look different. You look really different.
I'm groomed now.
Maybe
patchy ass shit growing in.
Yeah, like I think
you
had more of like a beard. I think your hair, you have it like in a ponytail, or you have it like tied.
My hair was shorter at the time. My hair didn't get this long until after 2019.
Do you have it tied up right now?
I do.
Yeah. So I don't think you had that back in like 2014 or whatever you started doing this.
I would get haircuts, but like my hair would get like mega curly in ways. Not like tiny curls. We're talking just like big old swoops that just like swoop.
And you wore glasses more often.
I did.
I think you don't wear glasses that much.
Yeah, that mainly only came across ditching the glasses during COVID era because like my glasses would always fog with the mask. I was like, all right. But also in angles like this right now where I'm at, like if I put my glasses on right now, like you see, it's glare central.
Yeah, you see right there. Yeah.
But I always wear them when I go to the movies.
Cool. I'm old. I'm old. I hurt myself.
Logan, what did you do? What did you do? Full circle, baby. We know how to do it. 116 episodes in.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's superhero movies in general. If you're watching this, leave your comments down below. How well do you think superhero movies are going to do this year? I'm very curious about that, especially after the complete diminishing returns for comic book movies last year. Besides the good ones, if they're good, Spider-Verse did very well. Guardians did very well.
Ant-Man
opened well, but then quickly diminished. And Blue Beetle, I forget the opening, was like 28 million, I think, for Blue Beetle. And Aquaman, even Aquaman 2 right now, passing 400 million, which once again...
Is that international?
International, yeah. Whew, not domestic. But yeah, I think it's still not big success because it had like a $200 million budget. But still, it was paramount that they released Aquaman in December and not Dune, even though Dune would have done fantastic, I think. Aquaman, they needed to be a success because they knew it wasn't that good of a movie, or at least mid. Sorry, James, Juan. So then it would do better in Christmas. Yeah.
To gauge a little something different, but kind of in a similar wheelhouse to Deadpool, how well did John Wick 4 do?
Very well. I think what it opened up with, I think 78 million was the opening weekend. I think overall it did 440, which is, again, Aquaman 2, which was horrible, crossed like 415 the other day, 450 maybe, Aquaman 2. But, John Wick famously has minimal budgets, which made it way more of a success than Aquaman.
Yeah, and I know it's not that similar of a caliber to superhero films, but John Wick was like built off of like the old assassin revenge genre, which
which I love.
Yeah, which love, but we're not short on them for sure. There's plenty of entry. Whatever Liam Neeson's doing next, I'm sure is within that genre.
I saw another Liam Neeson trailer the other day. I'm like, oh, he's back. Oh, yeah.
He's taken 7. Let's go.
Amazing.
But it's just in that realm. The fact that it started from something like someone carving its own way, but still being of that type of subgenre, like Deadpool in the superhero game, has been able to like carve their own niche. And the fact that again, this original like revenge flick of like, these assholes killed my dog, I'm gonna get him back, and he gets him back right at the end of the first one. But now we went to 4, and it's people are crying watching it. Like it delivers.
Yeah.
So, and all rated R consistently across the board.
Rated R consistently. So yeah, the rating I think actually helps in Deadpool's case, because it adds to that appeal. But yeah, so we'll see how everything does. I do have Deadpool 3 comfortably being the most successful comic movie, but then again, that's because everything else is either Venom 3 or. But Venom did well the last 2 runs. But yeah,
I think
Madam Web isn't doing that.
Didn't Venom 2 do better than the first? Pretty sure.
Maybe. Let me see. Venom franchise box office.
I know we were also still in pandemic era, but it had like a really good opening for said pandemic. I remember that.
Yeah. So Venom overall had 856 worldwide. The first one. Second one did not do better. Second one did. So it went from 856 to 501 with Venom 2.
Okay.
So a $355 million decrease. Doing Venom 3 with today's current climate for comic movies, I'm predicting 400 around there for Venom 3, which wouldn't be too bad, but maybe, I don't know, the budget for Venom 3. Yeah, either way, yeah.
I don't see it doing like terrible. Yeah, I don't, but I also don't see it doing like as high numbers as like the other two, because I think the biggest player they could have introduced was Carnage, and we've already been there, done that.
Who's the villain of Venom 3? Do we know anything about that movie yet?
I think it's Toxin, which was
God, that random cop, right?
Yes, random cop's Toxin. I just know Toxin being like a spawn of Carnage, but
because at this point for Venom 2, we were like, we knew we were set up for Venom 1 with Cletus Cassidy and Carnage, and they kind of blew their wad per se. And
I mean, it's funny when I'm walking into the first Venom and it's like it's Riot. I'm like, who? I know Riot's been in the comics, but I'm like,
great point. Yeah,
Carnage, I really don't know.
People would just
Shriek maybe, but
yeah, that appeal with just seeing Venom is what drove the first one to like sky high 856.
He's bigger. He's better.
Oh God,
it's too much to have a Spider-Man.
No matter how much they want it, or maybe not want it, you never know.
I wonder if the Venom 3 leaks are any validity to this day.
What are the leaks for Venom 3?
Warning for people if you care for this potential.
I thought we've heard nothing about this movie.
Not officially. But from what I had heard, of a potential leaked script is like there was going to be a young Peter Parker that Eddie has to protect.
I think they got this confused with the Madam Web script.
No, because of the other things we're hearing from Madam Web is like different Spidey stuff, which apparently have both been cut. We didn't talk about that. I kind of want to talk about that though,
let's do that real quick. Sure, why not?
So the Madam Web's coming up this Valentine's Day on a Wednesday. So
yeah, take your dates, people.
5-day opening weekend to get that boosted number opening report.
Yeah, I think because never mind. I was going to mention Super Bowl. Oh, yeah, I think it is Super Bowl weekend, February 12th. I'm not a sports guy.
Well, then it would be after.
Oh, you're right.
But if they want to like put a spot in front of the Super Bowl, then
forget what I said. I wouldn't do that if I'm on web. You don't want to waste that much money.
Sure, it's $1 million, easy. So right now, the course of Madam Web is apparently they were going to have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man appear to be the official Sonyverse Spider-Man of these standalone films. Then they were crunching numbers of the timeline, I guess, and then then they started to pivot to Tom because the MCU connectivity of it all, which is, I think, a very real effect we saw with something from Morbius where they botched how the spell works. Anyway, that's the worst end credit scene I've ever fucking seen. To this day.
Is it worse than the Venom 1? There's going to be carnage.
Yes, it's worse because I know Woody Harrelson will give me entertainment.
True.
Yes, Evan. The food. I hope the food's better than this joint. It's fucking worse.
That happened. That was a line, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was the end credit scene that they broke into two. Actually, I don't remember. It's so fucking dumb. Like he appears, they're transporting him. We go back to the credits, and then we're in the fucking car commercial.
Yeah, and then
Spider-Man, I think.
Jared Leto's looking up into the sky.
Oh, intriguing! Like you were a hero the whole film. What are you doing? Anyway, they wanted to pivot to Tom, but now I'm hearing, since they set the film in 2003, the timeline doesn't make sense for them, so they decided once again, in a Morbius fashion, to cut any mention and ties of Spider-Man, even though I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a subplot of Emma Roberts playing Peter's mom, and
I've heard this.
Uncle Ben.
Okay.
So it's we'll see, but like at this point, I'm just happy that there are spider people at all.
Yeah.
But this.
Yeah, because remember, the appeal was like we started off with like the Madam Web. There could be connective tissue to things that's happening because of the Madam Web character. It's all about connections and destiny. But I was always nervous with the Madam Web character. And I always see this when I see the trailer, which 5,000 times I've seen the trailer. Mm-hmm. It's like experience the origin of Madam Web. Like you've never seen it before. Like nobody knows who Madam Web is. So when the trailer person is like, experience the origin of Madam Web, like nobody cares about the origin of Madam Web. That's the biggest thing. Like nobody cares about the character.
I'll tell you what drives me up the wall. Spider reference. But actually, spider references and all these things. Madam Web has a bunch of like studying spiders in the Amazon shit. But also thinking back to like the Craven trailer. Remember that shot where like someone's standing in the forest, like all these spiders are crawling down. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Who cares? Carnage ate a fucking spider in the movie. Like you keep having spider symbolism, but like that ain't
Who's
shit.
It for? Who's it for?
It's like wink. Like why?
Why? I don't
dangling
get
the carrot in front of the horse. That's not.
I really want to talk to these execs. Like, why? Just like point the screen. Why? Who is this for? 2-year-old boys who don't understand anything on the screen? Because anybody with a brain is going to be pissed.
I'm very much with you, and I'm also of a similar mindset to want to just like, hey, you are about to be 5-6 movies in to these whatever
Sumuk.
And the sunk
Sony Universe Marvel
comics.
Something.
Comic. And you've not once tried to put a spider person in there, of which there are billions. And like maybe you won't want to do Peter Parker because Tom's doing the Peter Parker stuff and Marvel doesn't want to play ball. Okay. Silk. Miles, Ben Reilly, anybody is an option.
Anybody. It's wild to me. Like, this could all just started off by just doing a Miguel Spider-Man 2099 universe where you have carte blanche. Carte blanche! That means, if you're not French, you have a blank check to do anything you want in a different universe outside of everything you see in the MCU. You don't want to do that. Gwen, Earth 65, you have carte blanche to do anything the fuck you want. But no, let's get a Madam Web. Or hey, if you want to stick it in the modern day because that drives sales or whatever. If you want to do modern day, like Nathan said, Silk is there. Ben Reilly. Like, there's other modern day superheroes that could just be in this, but you want to do a Venom trilogy? Okay, whatever. And I admire them for after the first one, which I still don't like the movies, but I admire them for being, this is just silly chaos for 2 hours. Bye, have some fun, whatever. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about connection. Venom 2, the only connection was a weird post-credit scene, which is awful.
I'll say the fucking whiplash of like experiencing the Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene where he sees Tom on the TV screen, and my whole audience be like, "Oh shit, here we go!" And then I go watch No Way Home, and he's drunk in a bar, pulled right out, which gotta be just like the biggest like kick in the nuts for Tom.
It was weird. Why did this happen? Let's see behind the scenes about that. Like
that has to be the most the most drawn out 2-parter post-credits just to set up the symbiote.
It wasn't even that drawn out. I think was it in the same year? I think they both came out in 2021. It's the same year, right? Yeah,
it was September.
Like Venom 3 was September, so it was short. People were just like, "Oh, this could be something," and then it was nothing.
I remember hearing that Venom was supposed to be part of the No Way Home finale.
Maybe that was it,
because the symbiote was going to heal Toby getting stabbed. Remember that scene?
And we do know there was tons of behind the scenes chaos with No Way Home. So there was probably tons of different storylines there. But yeah, that was a weird post credit scene catastrophe. But yeah, the whole Sony Marvel universe this year just illustrates how dumb and chaotic it is. Kraven, it's gonna bomb. It's just gonna bomb. It's put in theaters to bomb. Madam Web is put there to bomb.
Kraven, which was supposed to come out before Madam Web, and I can only imagine is just like, because I know Rhino's the villain in it. I'm pretty sure it's just another like get that Sinister Six in there. We got to get him in there.
And why do you want Sinister Six without a Spider-Man?
They're so ride or die for making that. Remember back in like the Andrew Garfield era, they were like, we want to make a Sinister Six movie.
2014, this started, which actually. 2014 was Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. So they were thinking this shit in 2012 at least.
Yeah, it was because it was in their the leaked emails. Remember?
Yeah. So this is wild.
What's even more baffling, and this is going to bring you to another topic because I don't think it was in your notes. Is for another rumor of Spider-Man 4. Sony very much wants to do live action Spider-Verse stuff because of the success of No Way Home. I know, but they do, and I'll be there. But point being, why in the goddamn fuck do you want to do that so badly and then you don't want to play ball with your own shit that you have released 6 of this year coming up, and you don't have a single spider? I mean, yes, you have the Lazy Mammoth, which cool. Are you going to do anything with them? Who's to say? But
once again, it's a great cast. Isabella Merced, who once again playing Dina, Last of Us, great casting. Sydney Sweeney is getting better and better as an actress. Mm-hmm. Dakota Johnson is Dakota Johnson. Like, come on, it's a great cast, but
they get really good casts. I mean, for a lot of them,
they do for all their movies. They get good cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson is Kraven, pretty good casting, pretty genius casting, but like. They're gonna squander. You had Michelle fucking Williams in Venom. Michelle Williams in Venom, and she gets
both Venoms.
She gets jack shit to do.
I think I had heard Chiwetel Ejiofor is part of Venom 3. Probably.
Oh, I think we did hear about that. I don't know if he stuck with that or not, but Chiwetel he's great at playing villains. So
yeah. Even if you watch like The Lion King, it's like didn't get much, but that's good casting.
He was great as Scar, voice wise at least,
Yeah.
But yeah.
But to that point though, there's rumor of Spider-Man 4 that apparently there is a disagreement on the direction of Spider-Man 4, which is Marvel Studios, Kevin wants it like us to
Kevin
wants it to be a grounded film. Sony wants to get, apparently, Toby and Andrew back immediately.
Yeah.
For an
this is a rumor.
Yes.
Rumors probably from, an intern overhearing this. But I would it leads credence based on the track history of Sony and what we've heard about through the emails and through not Hillary's emails, through the emails and whatever's going on with Sony these days.
I love the song. Can't wait for Craven. They call him the Rhino.
Oh God, how are we getting this again? How are we dialing it back this November, Nathan? Kill America sucks. Anyways,
is it really the same lineup again?
Yeah, it's gonna be Trump v. Biden.
I was drinking during that election because I was like, we don't know. Help me.
Yeah, if we get another 4 years of Orange Doofus, that was going to be bad. But then we've had 4 years of Biden, and hasn't been great, but hasn't been Trump great, or hasn't been Trump bad. Anyways, this is not my cup of politics. But anyways, yeah, I agree. I think Feige understands. I think Feige even said, given what and this is what leads credence to this rumor. Feige, as early as Comic-Con, the last time we had Comic-Con, when he was asked about the future of Spider-Man, he said, we have our grounded, our mystic, and our cosmic, whatever bullshit he said. Yeah. And for grounded, he mentioned Spider-Man, which were like, great. Great. That makes sense. Given, especially given the ending of No Way Home, we basically have finished Spider-Man's origin story. He's all alone. People don't know who he is. We can get apartment, low budget, Spider-Man, grounded, maybe team up with Daredevil, which is coming up soon, Kingpin. Right. That seems to be getting set up. While Sony wants Tobey and Andrew back, given the numerical dollar success of No Way Home, which Sony's all about the money, baby. That wouldn't be great. And I don't think that would happen. I just want to say that right now. I don't think Tobey and Andrew are coming back for Spider-Man 4. I just can't see that getting further than this rumor.
I especially don't see it because I can only imagine whatever like sense of reunion between the three that we would be leading to is probably something we would expect to see coming up in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I've no doubt because everybody and their mom is in that.
Yeah. Who doesn't think, like Nathan said, everybody and their mom's coming back. Tobey and Andrew are already coming back in 2027, 2028, whenever we get Secret Wars. Yeah. They're coming back. So is Hugh, by the way. Everybody's coming back. So I think, as we've all said about Secret Wars, it's going to be the closing chapter, finally, of the past 28 years, or whenever Secret Wars comes out, of Sony movies and of Fox movies. Mm-hmm. Delete everything. And Marvel, for all we know, and then start fresh with the X-Men saga and the New Avengers after that. Yeah. I think save Tobey and Andrew for Beyond, or not Beyond the Spider-Verse, which they might be Beyond. I don't want that to happen, but same people saying this rumor that we're talking about now are the same people doubling down that Andrew and Tobey are in Beyond.
I now feel weird about plugging them into something like Beyond because we had the whole live action people, Donald Glover, in the last one that kind of took out the fun I was having of imagining our boys animated.
Yeah, I think if they're animated, that'd be fun as hell. But it's like,
they could be play variants at that point. But yeah,
you're right. They would have to be variants. They wouldn't be Tobey.
They physically showed Andrew in live action as well. In that.
Yeah. So I think people keep saying that was a test run. They want to do more like that. But I'm like, everything I hear about Beyond from the, from the directors and from Phil and Lord and Miller, I get more confident about the emotionality and the greatness that is Beyond, what's going to be for Beyond. Yeah. But at the same time, I just don't want Tobey and Andrew to be there. But if they are, I have confidence that it's going to be look and run, like a look and done kind of thing. I don't want them to have lines or impact the story in any kind of way. Just make it like Donald Glover. Put them in a cage or something. I don't know. Or put them in the sky and be like, hey, these are the other possibilities, Miles. Wave, and then that beyond, or that be gone. That's it.
Now, I'm not opposed to a live action Spider-Verse movie full all the way through. I mean, that was always like my dream movie, and then we got No Way Home, which was basically like a meld of like the best I thought I would ever get, right? Because I didn't think we would do more with the guys, but obviously when you do over a billion, maybe over 1.5, if I'm remembering,
I think so. Yeah.
in a pandemic, it's like, oh yeah, I get why they would want to do it again. Not, of course, obviously, if they do this again, it's not going to match that because we already looked behind the curtain, didn't we?
Already did. Yeah.
But obviously, it would be fun to experience a full romp of runtime with all three together. Sure, it'd be fun. And I've always dreamed of like the adaptation of the Spider-Verse comic panel where Peter meets Gwen of different universes where they both lost each other and then reconciling. And if you get fucking Emma behind the mask again for something like that, I would crumble.
I know Feige butchered it by not giving Emma enough money for Sue Storm, but if we can get Emma for just 1 minute, just give me 1 minute of Emma, Feige, 1 minute of Emma for one scene in one movie, I think Emma would accept. She likes to have fun. Just give her $1 million for 1 minute.
Is that, her and Andrew are still good friends?
Her and Andrew are still great friends, of course. So yeah, just give me 1 minute of Emma Stone. I know she costs a lot. She should. She's the best. But
multi-Oscar nominee.
Multi-Oscar nominee. Maybe multi-Oscar winner in next month. In March. By the way, I hate how the Oscar nominations were last week and then we have to wait till March 15th to see the winners. Like, it's too long for voting. Make it February. Anyways,
February. Isn't it like just like a week apart from the Super Bowl?
I think it used to be April, then it was February, then it's March, and then it was February. Now it's March again. So I have no idea. I forget the original, but I think March and February is supposed to be the norm. So yeah, we'll see about all that. But yeah, I think once again, I think we are getting a Daredevil Spider-Man team up because once again, these movies kind of necessitate a Marvel character teaming up with our boy from New York, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So if that has to be the case, then Matt Murdock is the best option, and it makes sense.
And that's always like that was the ultimate negative here is like taking away from like the great setup you had from No Way Home, where he is grounded. Because if you just went for another Spider-Verse adventure immediately, it's like
we don't care.
I mean, I care, but like I cared more about him struggling.
Yeah, we need to see Peter struggle with his own villains, please. No more bringing back characters.
A one film break. I heard offhand rumor that they're gonna have a villain that hasn't been adapted before for Spidey, which to everyone's ears is like, okay, Scorpion now? Can I get Michael Mando?
I forgot about that rumor. But yeah, Scorpion will be great, but I think it's gonna be mostly Kingpin storyline here.
Sure.
Which kind of, again, Kingpin is mostly going to be like that damn Matt, that damn Daredevil. Oh, and now I hate you too, Spider-Man. But like, Spidey, I want a villain with Spidey history, like vendetta. And I don't know if even Kingpin's going to achieve that. But I'm not complaining too much because Vincent is great as Kingpin.
I remember, and maybe they trade for Kingpin, but I remember in, I think, both comics and cartoons I've seen, Jonah hires Scorpion to go after Spider-Man. I would love a built-up dynamic between Peter and Jameson. I think that would be great, especially since we're back to nobody knows who he is. Like, all right, cool, get that Bugle employment ship running, even though it's not fucking newspaper anymore, which sucks.
Yeah, is Peter gonna be doing TikToks for money? Oof, that'd be bad.
I don't know. Send in some footage. Maybe it isn't just photos anymore, but it actually is like captured footage. I don't know. But also in like the digital age, like anybody can get footage of Spider-Man, can't they?
Yeah.
That's God fuck.
And
then we aged out of like the peak of dynamics.
Yeah, that peak dynamic. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Things are changing. Before we go to Percy Jackson, finally, I know an hour in, but because we're on the Daredevil thing, we can just quickly touch on Bullseye's back as well for at least 3 episodes, they said. And this reminds me of what we got with Andor and kind of what we got with Daredevil season 2 to a degree. People said, because what I'm about to say is that they could do a multi-arced season of television like what they did with Andor, where we had 3 arcs for the first 3 episodes, him getting out of his hometown in Andor, and then we had 3 episodes of the heist on the other planet, and then we had a break, and then we had 3 more episodes of the prison escape, and then we had 2 episodes for the finale, adding up to around 12 episodes. I think Daredevil could do the same thing with doing 3 times 4 with a couple breaks in there. But people said, like, oh, they did it for Daredevil season 2. But I never thought that. In my opinion, Daredevil season 2 is just 2 halves with Frank Castle as part 1 and then Elektra as part 2. Unless I'm forgetting a third arc in that season.
Well, I think they just end up overlapping by the last, like, 4.
Kind of overlap. Yeah, okay, I guess that's fair. Does Frank come back? Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah. Because of the whole prisons thing. So yeah, they kind of overlap there towards the end. But yeah, I think we could, if Bullseye being back, first of all, is great news. This truly is, this revamp, this restart for the production of Born Again has really become Daredevil season 4, which is fantastic for me because it's kind of what we all wanted. We have the trio again, which, you know, say we will, but set leaks, they're not great. But everybody and the mother has them online, and it's weird, Nathan. Like, we're getting shots from behind the screens. We're getting cameras, like the shots of a director's camera on Twitter. How is this happening?
Like, yeah, there is like filming out in the open, and then there's like, I've jumped a barricade and no one cares.
Yeah, like, okay, I get being in a crowd and looking across the street and seeing Karen, Foggy, and Matt walking. That's normal.
Yeah.
But then we're seeing people online post pictures of like
the
monitor technology, filming technology and stuff. I'm like,
I've seen people
what's happening?
Like filming in away from a crowd where like they have like a slight zoom in. We have like a pixel, but like we're talking like this isn't like zoomed into the monitor. This is like you're next.
You're right there. Like for like the monitor is my computer and I'm right here. It's like it's feet away. It's I don't. It's
unless they're filming like right outside your ground floor apartment.
Either way, it's like, did somebody walk away and you can just get on set? Because it looks like they're on fucking set. It's weird. So yeah, I don't like that, but it's kind of unavoidable that you see it on Twitter. But I like seeing our main 3 together. And I like seeing Bullseye back in here. He was amazing antagonist, really digging into his mental state in season 3, which is why I love season 3 a lot. It really delves into the mental state of Kingpin, Matt, and the Bullseye character and how they intersect, and the idea of control in one's life. But it's so good, and I'm very excited to see him get his revenge. Or I don't even know, you know, he's pissed at Kingpin for making him this way. He's pissed at Matt for going against him. So it's like we have Matt versus Kingpin, but then now you have a third party in Bullseye, and I don't know how he's going to factor into the story.
I'd be very intrigued to see how it rolls. I was rewatching the fight between Matt and Bullseye in like that office space.
I saw that online the other day. Yeah.
And well, first off, I was like, damn, it's dark. I had to turn on my brightness.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. I'm never that type of complainer. But sometimes I'll be watching Percy Jackson and I'm like, all right.
Yeah. It's too dark. Percy Jackson's too dark sometimes.
I'm turning off like all my shit. I'm like, fucking.
It happens. It happened with me and Willow. Like I used to go home and watch Willow, bring back season 2. But then I just realized, like, let me just watch it again at night, so I can actually get like the clear picture here. Because man, it's hard to see. Anyways,
the idea of watching afternoon TV with glare is over.
Yeah, it's bad. I see a lot of glare these days.
But rewatching the fight, I was just like so taken aback at like how terrifying of a character to fight Bullseye really is, because literally everything's a weapon. fucking office bouncy ball, fucking right in the jaw at a ricochet level, a stapler, fucking a fucking thumbtack, and it's like, oh fuck.
It's amazing. I think I've never rewatched season 3. I've rewatched season 1 like 3 or 4 times. I think season 2 twice. But I think I've never rewatched season 3. And I really want to, because I want to remind myself like how his abilities worked and like his, like you're saying, his threat level. Did they ever go into like detail about how he became, or that's just who he was? So he's just that talented.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think we had some flashbacks with him where like he was. I don't know if he was like he was a trouble kid. And I don't remember if it was because of his parents or if he was in bad situations. But I remember like he would be like sat like in a corner or something. He would just be like practicing Percy, like the dark version of Kate practicing flipping the coin.
Yeah. So that's cool. So yeah, once again, we talked about last week that Daredevil was finally starting production. The week afterwards, we saw Bullseye's coming back, so we just got to talk about it. That season 4 is in the thick of it in terms of production. Bullseye's coming back, Kingpin's coming back, Frank House is coming back, Foggy and Paige are coming back. Not Paige, Froggy and Karen Page. Yeah, Page. I'm right.
I need to watch. I need to watch Punisher more. I hadn't really gotten. I watched like the first episode of the show.
Oh, you didn't watch the first season in general?
No, but then I saw a clip online of there was a broken mirror of glass, and Frank dragged the man's face across it, and the sound design
brutal
induced. What the fuck's the word? But like, it was like when I would watch the fucking scene from John Wick 3 where like the ballerina took off the fucking toenail.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that was the finale of season 1. So you could watch season 1. I never watched Punisher season 2, Luke Cage season 2, Iron Fist season 2, or Jessica Jones season 3. Do they have 3 seasons of Jessica Jones?
They do. I haven't done. I got 2 episodes into season 2 of Jessica Jones. I hadn't seen any of the rest. I hadn't seen season 2 of Iron Fist or Luke Cage. I got like all the way up to Defenders, and then I watched. You
just petered out.
Well, yeah, and then I finally years later watched season 3 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
So I'm missing like a whole other chunk of now canon MCU. Now when's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. getting folded in there?
Still the best, I think. I love Daredevil. Daredevil's peak. But for me, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still my favorite Marvel live action show.
I really want to do a rewatch.
Well, actually, in general, no live action. Yeah, live action.
I really want to do a rewatch of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I've only seen up to season 4.
I would love to rewatch it with a friend. We could watch it together. If you're not busy sometimes.
That'd be fun.
Doesn't have to be on stream or something, but
watch me cry to Spies Goodbye. God, my soul was changed that day. I remember
that show. Oh my god!
I would binge like 6 episodes with my dad like every night for dinner, and then that was the last episode we watched. And like we're like getting up for the night, turn off the TV. And I'm like, good night.
Good night. Love you. Good night.
I walk in my room, I fucking break down, and I'm a fucking sadist, so I turn it on again.
It's man. How far did you get in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., by the way? I don't want to spoil anything.
I got all the way to the end of season 4, so I watched all like the Robbie Reyes. Was he in any other seasons, or is he just season 4?
No. Yeah, he was season 4. Then I think he appeared one other time for a portal scene. I don't know. But Ward is my favorite character in the show. And seeing Ward go through all that, like his change up and everything like that.
His Hydra in this.
Yeah.
The literal embodiment of the image, which is very compelling.
So good. So yeah, Ward. So many scenes just made me tear up in that show. It's just unreal. If you have not seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm telling you, it's not like jokey, crazy, ridiculous show. It takes itself seriously. It's fun as hell.
You care about the whole group.
The whole group is great, well acted, perfect. Like if I'm trying to get into storytelling and I'm looking at character dynamics and relationships and how they evolve over time, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of a great example to really get your foot in the door in terms of like how emotion like just changes and how everything isn't as easy as you might think.
It was always
it's great. Back
in my early days of developing Time Blazer, my pitch was like season 2 is basically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But obviously I've now rearranged stuff where I meet other characters sooner. Season 1, we're all here now.
Yeah, it's just so good. So yeah, let's finally get into fucking Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson. Motherfucking yeah. Anyways,
your students. Just got you.
My students kill me these days. The main thing is, what are they saying these days? Nah, Mr. Harris, I'm gonna do my own thing. Shut the fuck up.
You don't get to say. You have to understand where he stood.
They say it all the time. Hey, Ace, can you turn the lights off? Nah, Mr. Harris, I'm gonna do my own thing. Guys, where's their homework? Nah, Mr. Harris, I'm gonna do my own thing.
It's starting to be ashamed of you. You should say.
I literally go to them and I will make you disappear if you say it to me one more time. Like, I swear to God.
Disappear.
Yeah.
To the office.
They got a good laugh at that, by the way.
To the shadow realm.
Yeah. And they're like, what do you mean, Mr. Harris? I'm like, just
you don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
I'll lose my job. Disrespect Miles one more time.
Don't care. No.
I'll do my own thing. You watch me.
Yeah,
just watch me do my
go. Thing. Yeah. Oh, I do sometimes. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I go over to the phone, about to call the principal. It's like, okay. Yeah.
It's so good though.
It's
a great reversal.
But man, that annoys the fuck out of me. Anyways,
I'll be the original anomaly, motherfucker. You wait. God damn.
That's great. But Percy Jackson, the finale is tomorrow, which is crazy. Oops.
But also, like, already.
Because, like, just aside, I'm gonna miss talking about this show. And we never really. It's difficult because it comes out on Tuesdays, and we don't really have time to talk about it during the week because of like work and stuff like that. And then weekends we see movies, we're busy, so it comes around to just doing it on Mondays. That's how it works. But now we're fresh, or not fresh, but like we're well inundated with the episode, and we can get our theories about tomorrow's episode, the finale. Which somebody told me the director's commentary, not commentary, but behind the scenes releases tomorrow as well. It might be a double header, which is I don't like that. I like the behind the scenes having its own special day to it. I remember Willow had its behind the scenes and had a whole special day because that was the last.
Is that gone too from the platform?
Oh, it might be.
Could you imagine like that just being left up?
Is that
not being able to see what it's attached?
You're right. Yeah, that sounds weird.
Why the fuck would you show it to me if I can't have it?
I can't have it. Yeah, I put in the words Willow. Anything that shows up is the movie. And Halloween Town High. Weird. Yeah. And it was bad because the Willow documentary was like, I'm so happy that Disney got to make like these a queer lead actress and a queer lead characters as the main heroes, and a brown-skinned rogue character like as a lead. And then I'm so happy that Disney put the ball forward in doing this. And
a Star Wars Celebration panel highlight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like you publicly told us.
And I wish I was a fan of the show at that time because I was still like, Willow, what the hell is this? But I was there. I could have said hi to Aaron. I could have said hi to Ruby Cruz. I could have said hi to Ella, I think the actress who plays Willow herself. And I'm like, oh, they're such a great cast. Such a great cast. I need to see them again. Anyways. Percy Jackson, episode 7. One of my favorite episodes of the season so far. Probably my favorite. I'm not sure now. I liked episode 5 a lot, the Ares episode a lot. But this episode really worked for me on a number of levels. I felt the tension. It had the penultimate episode tension to it in terms of the score. Underrated score, by the way, by Barry McCreary. Yeah,
Bear McCreary.
Bear McCreary, not Barry. Great show. Bear McCreary. Never heard of him. Kidding. Great composer.
He went off on the King of the Monsters score, dude.
King of the Monsters is great. I was thinking of Lord of the Rings season 1, Ring of Power was also a really good score he did recently. A show you probably never watched because you don't watch TV. Also, I'm just kidding. But finish
somehow I have experienced the entire Breaking Bad universe, so that's a plus.
I don't know how you did that, but you did. Yeah.
Only 3
we should just do
The Walking Dead.
We should do like a whole T episode about Better Call Saul and the greatness that was Better Call Saul.
I was rewatching a clip online of spoilers, Better Call Saul, of Howard's death.
Yeah,
and like this monologue is just so good, and then it's just taken so quick.
Lalo Salamanca is one of the best characters of the Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad universe.
I'm glad I didn't watch Better Call Saul before I saw Hawkeye, because I would just be watching Hawkeye like, you son of a bitch, you killed Howard.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, so you feel the tension, the rising tension in this episode. But also, what I took note of, first of all, because I rewatched certain scenes before this podcast. What I like about the show, and I paused it and I talked about it with Jalen on last Tuesday, was that in contrast to the book, a lot of the characters go into these perilous events already knowing beforehand what they're about to encounter. I noticed it with, of course, Medusa, where in the books, they go in, they're like eating, they're like, oh, the food is delicious. What's going on here? And then they get freaked out.
What's over there, Hansel?
Yeah. And then they get freaked out by Medusa. I think Grover is the one to get everybody back on track, and Annabeth and Percy are like, what? But this one, they're like, it's fucking Medusa. Don't look at her. And they kind of go into the scenario already knowing who she is, and the episode plays on that. And that's been happening a lot of other times as well, where they're not really afraid of certain events. Or like, for example, the Chimera. They're like, that's the Chimera. Like, that's who that is, in the St. Louis Arch episode. And also it happened here, where they meet Krusty, the waterbed, which I thought was going to be, honestly, a deleted scene for this show, given the pacing of the show. But I'm glad they kept it in here. But they made a quick work of it, because in the book, it's one chapter, and they go in there, and they're like, okay, we're looking for the secret in the underworld. We go in here. Hermes gave us this direction to what's in here. We see all these water beds. They start laying on them because they're so tired. But then Krusty comes over, kind of puts them in a trap, and Grover nearly dies. And they play on that. They go in. Percy automatically clocks everything to go in. They have a trap set up for Krusty, which is a great play on like what happened in the books again. And I like this because this scenario was important to the narrative of this episode. In terms of Percy acknowledging Krusty. I think his name is Procrustes. He says, I go by Krusty. But he's a son. Yes, exactly. But he goes by, or he's a son of Poseidon. He is a brother to Percy in that sense. And he talks about, like, I put a quote here: our parents twist us, pick off pieces so they seem more like them. So we seem more like them. Which is a great line by Krusty. It was kind of like a de-relegated demigod who's only in there to trap travelers from going into the underworld.
Did they die?
They die. They go into the water bed and then they get sucking down.
So they go to the underworld anyway.
I guess so.
But they're trapped. There's no free will.
It's weird. Yeah, it's a good point.
I've always wondered this about Greek mythology. The underworld isn't a great place, right?
Not at all, boy. It depends. If you're a hero and you did your great shit, but you end up, I forget how it works.
Okay. But like,
you can still end up in the underworld, I think.
Okay, but if you're like an average farmer or something, and you just live a life, and then you die, but you followed like the beliefs of the gods, you still end up in the underworld. And here's my question: is like, no matter what, is it just hell? Do you just go to hell regardless of your life's up?
No. And the Percy Jackson books talk about this. There's two fields of the underworld. We see one of them here. I was skimming through the episode. I couldn't find the field name. I could just Google it, honestly. But there's two fields. If you die of regret, field of regrets, underworld. Let's see what it's called. Not Undertale, underworld. What is it called? Greek mythology. The Fields of Apostle. ASPHODEL. The Apostle Fields. Those are bad. If you die without having a fulfilling life, or you die with regret, or you die being a bad person, you die in there where you're stuck for eternity with endless thoughts of regret, hate, and suffering. But if you die happy, you end up in another field where you're with loved ones and you're happy. So let me see. Happy fields, underworld, Greek underworld. What is it called? The Elysian Plain was a land of perfect happiness at the end of the earth on the banks of the Oceanus in the afterlife of the underworld. So yeah, two fields, the Elysian fields and then the fields of apostle. The Elysian fields are great. If you live a blessed and happy afterlife, you can have good times there. But again, if you die of regret, you see what we saw here in episode 7, which are the apostle fields, where you're just rooted in place, alone, solitary confinement for the rest of your life.
So if I regret not taking that other slice of pizza that I could have had,
you're fucked.
Okay.
You're screwed. Sorry, Nathan. Eat the damn pizza.
But don't be gluttonous.
But don't be gluttonous. Exactly. Yeah, don't be rash.
What you should have done is taken the pizza, sacrifice it to the god.
Exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly.
There's a scene at the end, not to jump ahead, but like
sure, go ahead.
I guess like the whole imagery is like Percy's mom sacrificed this dessert to get in contact with Poseidon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm watching and I'm like, it wasn't your fucking dessert. That shit was already eaten.
Oh, was it Percy's? And then where did she get the
No, Percy's was still on the table. He hadn't had a bite. She walks up to the counter to go pay. It's already there, half like mostly eaten, melted.
So somebody else's?
Yeah, the bar's empty. Like presumably they already left, and so it's just there. And she finds some matches, and she's like, boom, and then the rain starts, and I'm like, hey, I was Poseidon. I would make it rain everywhere I went to.
Hey, looking for this?
Boom, you looking for this? The magic bolt.
So glad Poseidon didn't do that. We'll talk about that scene. That scene was probably my favorite scene in the series so far.
Was that our first time seeing Poseidon on screen?
Yes. Even though it was weird because I feel like we've seen him so much in the trailers and everything. But yeah.
Casting announcements.
Casting announcements, yeah. He's on the front page of like Entertainment Weekly. But yeah, he was so good. Which reminds me, I gotta watch Black Sails. Coming to Netflix very soon, I think. Maybe the end of this month. You do?
On my Vudu, there was a sale, all 4 seasons for like $30. I got them like a while ago. I haven't watched it yet, but
since when?
Within a year. Would you like my login?
I guess I would, but now it's coming on Netflix, so I guess I'm good. Yeah.
Should you know sooner.
Yeah.
You want to log in for other shows?
You're not a good friend.
You want my crop Drake and Josh? I'm still pissed.
That's the story for a past stream if you watched it. Like and subscribe.
Every day I wake up and it's Drake and Josh.
But what I liked about Krusty, real quick, was that he talked about how the gods treat them, how they take away pieces of themselves, of the demigods, so that they can be more like the gods. And that dichotomy between the gods manipulating people's lives to be more like them, the other gods, is really reflected upon at the end on my favorite scene with Sally Jackson and Poseidon here, in the way she talks about wanting Percy to be who he is, and retaining his identity, which makes him so special, which I just love. I think that this episode really, the thematic notion of this episode is that Percy is the way he is because of Sally, because of the hardships that Sally endured as a mother to make him stand out, be unique, and not only help out himself become who he is, but help out his friends like Annabeth and Grover, and become as good as they are, as we'll get to in certain scenes. So we cut to the underworld real quick. I think the underworld looks really well done. I was really nervous for how they were going to adapt the underworld. It's one of the more fantastical elements of this first season. I kind of talked about that, where the first season is very much open your eyes to this brand new world, but it's very, very earthy. They're in LA, they're in St. Louis, they're in New Jersey. There's nothing too fantastical, fantasy element as much in this first book until we get to the underworld. And I think the underworld is really well done. The volume looked really good here. I think all the effects looked really good in the underworld. I just like the whole black and gray aesthetic of the world. I could have done with maybe even a darker color palette to make it even more unique, but that's just me spitballing.
Dark, a little gloomy.
But yeah, it looked really good. It looked gloomy as hell. This is exactly what I think the Underworld looks like. And spoiler, not spoiler alert, this is not the only time we see the Underworld in this world, this series of the first 5 books, even the Roman books. We see a different version with the Roman version of it all.
Could have done with some fire, some orange, like a little splash color.
A little splash of color, a little fire. But yeah, maybe Hades likes it all black and gray. That stand out. Oh, we're also spoiler alert for the finale. We will see Mount Olympus, and I cannot wait to see what that looks like.
Right.
Because I'm only like I think of when somebody says Mount Olympus, I automatically think of Kingdom Hearts and Hercules, the movie Mount Olympus kind of thing.
Evan, we're gonna see Lance tomorrow.
God damn. This is his last role, unless he's in the straight to DVD thing.
I don't know. I saw I saw Poor Things the other day.
He's out in Poor Things.
No, but I got a trailer for a movie, not with Lance Reddick, but it was this vampire movie with Angus Cloud is in it. I was like, oh my god,
Abigail.
Yeah, with Melissa Barrera.
Yes.
Which I was instantly like, the meme where like you sit forward,
stand up, sit forward. Yeah.
I was like, I'm in. Anything she's in, I'm in.
And Lance is in that?
No, I was also Angus Cloud, who we lost. Was also in. I was like, oh, pleasant surprise.
Yeah. I guess that's gonna be his last role as well. Man, it's so tragic seeing like people who are just gone too fucking soon. It sucks, man. But yeah, we get to see Lance in the flesh tomorrow, and I'm super stoked. So stoked. But yeah, I like the Underworld. There's a whole longer sequence in the novel, in the book, with Percy meeting Charon, Charon, the guy who ferries the dead into the Underworld and puts them. They gotta wait in line, obviously, or they gotta wait in line to see where they go, the Fields of Apostle or the Elysian Fields. Charon is kind of like the one to ferry them across and pick where they go for the rest of eternity.
That's the most anxiety-inducing line to ever stand.
Exactly, yeah. And Percy just cuts in line. What a New Yorker. It was great. I think Grover's like, are we just cutting in line? He's like, yeah, you should come to New York more often. We do this all the time, kind of thing. And they get there, and it's a shorter scene than I would like, but they get the point across there where Charon's like, you're not dead. And Percy says, one of my favorite lines of the series. To a certain extent, aren't we all dying? We're kind of all dying right now, which is pretty damn funny.
My cells die every day.
Exactly. So it was just a very funny encounter. And then, Charon, no other words. He didn't have a longer discussion. Again, like the book. I think I like the book's encounter a bit better. But Charon just like dog at him, basically. And then we get Cerberus in the flesh. I think Cerberus looked really well done. Really cool here.
I think the effects were great.
Yeah.
Design-wise.
Oh, not the best for you?
Not for me, because I'm just like, all right, you've copy and pasted 3 puppy heads.
Yeah, 3 puppy heads together. Yeah.
The Rottweiler was like, yes, they could be heads. But I'm like, for some reason, even though I know they did the same shit in like Harry Potter in the Sorcerer's Stone, I'm like, something about like the design of those dogs was just like not 100% just a normal dog to me. And maybe that's the effects of the time. I don't know. But whenever like you can like kind of like stretch the articulation and the shape of, like, yes, it's a hound, but mythic.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think it's interesting. Whenever you can go more unique with the character of Cerberus, who we've seen countless interpretations of this creature, I think it's always better if you get more unique. I think what they were trying to go for here was just trying to make it more of a dog than get crazy.
That's how they get out of it.
Because that's how they get out of it. The whole like if you just rub it or throw the balls, like they want to keep it being that puppy Rottweiler aesthetic. So I kind of see it, but I'm with you. Like it didn't look the best, but effects wise it looked cool, but concept wise it could have been a bit better. So I like the whole chase sequence. And last week we said, how are they gonna change things if we start off with 4 pearls, to escape. Well, my computer went dark for some reason.
Oh, I see you. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Wait, I hear you. My battery is not charging. Let me see. Let me see if that fixes anything. There we go. Okay. My power cord is not plugged in all the way. Oh, God. I've been losing battery this whole time. I got so nervous because I just recently had to get a new laptop charger because the other one was it just wasn't charging anymore. And then I bought another one on Amazon and it made like this weird vacuum noise, like whenever I charged it. I'm like, I don't like this. So then I buy a third one, which is the one I have now, and it's working.
Okay.
Either way. Yeah, it was weird. So yeah, they had 4 pearls, and I'm like, how are they going to get these 4 pearls to become 3? Are they going to change anything here? And we kind of quickly got here as Cerberus eats Grover, which I was like, oh shit.
I'm watching it, and as soon as Grover got bit up, I was like, "Is this how we progress to the next level? Do we have to get eaten?" I read the book in a minute. Could be.
That's the trick. We all get eaten, and then he takes us to Hades. Yeah, he spits us out.
No Rosario Dawson though, so for the movie.
What?
Rosario Dawson's in the Hades place in the movie. I think she's Persephone.
Really? Oh God, I don't remember that at all.
Starts hitting on Grover.
Wow.
Starts hitting on Brandon T. Jackson.
She's sitting on him?
No, hitting on.
What?
Not sitting. Hitting.
She's even worse, even weirder. I guess.
I don't know the interpretation. I just know she's pretty.
They made Persephone horny?
I guess so.
That's weird.
Bit of a side piece to Hades, kind of weird.
Persephone and Hades are my favorite Greek stories in general. It's very good. It's kind of like the OG, not OG Raylo dynamic, but you know what I mean. It's like enemies to lovers, kind of started there in a sense.
I look forward to more character development of Hades than just being like, meh.
Yeah, and Hades in this one, we'll get to it now, I guess. Oh, before we get there, a lot of things happen there.
The regret.
So Grover gets eaten. He gets spit out because Annabeth kind of like saves the day there, makes it more like a pet. Big Hermione energy there. Percy and Grover. Grover lifts Percy up the wall with the shoes.
Yep.
Annabeth is like, I'll make my way up there. They get the ball. They throw the ball.
Annabeth throws the ball up to them. To launch herself up with Cerberus.
Which was so smart. That was really smart. And then she just jumped off, apparently. Yeah. And that was a really cool, smart idea. And then they just throw the ball so then Cerberus can go run away. But that was really cool. But then they realized oh shit, Grover left the pearl inside of Grover. They didn't really leave it, but just in the chaos of getting swallowed, the ball has remained in Cerberus. So now we only have 3. How are we going to get his mom back if we only have 3? That was kind of the dilemma there. So they go through the fields of Apostle, where they see all these rooted beings, which is again creepy imagery. I still wish it was a bit brighter so we can see. I know it's the underworld, but I wish the darker aesthetic could be a little bit brighter in certain spots so we can see just how nasty and how tragic it all is. But we kind of delve into the sadness of it all in terms of regrets and everything like that. Yeah. And I liked that Annabeth was kind of stuck here, and she had to escape using one of the pearls. And it was great because she was like, it's okay. You guys can leave behind. You got to go save your mother. Which has reinforced how much Annabeth has grown to care about not just Percy, but Percy's whole pain about him needing to get his mother. And this element, I just want to say again, it's not in the books. In the books, Percy internally keeps it inside of hey, I'm in this quest, but internally I'm in it for my mom. And they don't really know about it until they get to like the Hades of it all, the Hades encounter in the books at least. But ever since
I don't care about the reward. I'm in it for the money.
Basically, Han Solo, 101. And in the show though, ever since episode 2, automatically Grover's like, I want to make sure that we can get Percy's mom back. He confirmed that she's still alive somehow in the underworld. And automatically he's like, okay, we're doing this for your mom too. And Percy admits as well very early on into the quest. That way the friendships that grow can make it even more important that the friends, Grover and Annabeth, care about Percy's mom, which was a very sweet moment. Again, Annabeth is taken away, but again, she has put a lot of faith into Percy at this point. I just love those small Percy and Annabeth crumbs that we get along the way. But then with Annabeth gone, she has successfully escaped using the pearls. So now we're down to 2. And then we see we're in the sand. For some reason, Cerberus didn't follow them from the fields. He stopped following them. They get to the sand area. Grover automatically just going towards a black hole. Not a black hole, but just a sand, the bottom of a sand dune into the crevice of the underworld. Nearly grabs him. The shoes are dragging him down. Percy uses a blade to stop it, and then I think they just cut off the laces or something like that, or
they just slide off of his feet
they slide off his feet, yeah, because the force, yeah. And this was crazy. So you just saw this. So Percy automatically thinks. So what does Percy think in this moment here?
In this moment,
in the moment when Grover nearly died, but they saved Grover.
Well, there's no real time to think, because as soon as Percy throws himself back, you hear a clink, and he looks.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because in the books, I'm like, spoilers for the reveal, whatever. But we know Luke gave Percy those shoes. So Luke should be the first person Percy thinks of in terms of like, these shoes are trying to drag me to hell, basically. Because they're already in the underworld. If they would have went into that crevice, that's below the underworld.
I continue to misremember the beginning of the season. I thought they all got a pair of shoes, but it seems like it's only been Grover.
It was only Percy, and Percy gave it to Grover in episode 2.
Okay, so that was the intent. Is like Percy was supposed to be pulled down by the shoes.
Yeah, the point was they get to the underworld. Luke and Ares, the plan was like, hey, they get to the underworld. Percy finally realizes the Master Bolt has been in Ares' bag that Ares gave to Percy all along. And then once that becomes in possession, the shoe to drag him down to Kronos, the big bad. But they don't think that. They hear this clink. Like you said, they don't have time to think about the whole shoe debacle, which they did just for a bit. They would try to get there. But they can't have time to think, which is very smart on the storytelling point of view. Because they hear the Master Bolt, and like I would get distracted too, because I'm like, where did this come from? They just remember, this isn't my bag. Ares gave me this bag. Duh, Ares and Hades must be working together, which I would kind of assume too at this point. We're stuck here in the underworld. Underworld has my mom. Plus, we think the underworld, Hades wants this conflict because it's Hades. So Hades and Ares want this conflict together. So we traverse to Hades' castle. By the way, great architecture. Hades is quite the architect there. Great black obsidian architecture there.
Doesn't he have isn't his castle upside down?
It's upside down, which is really cool. Awesome. I'm very curious to see how they do Olympus. Is this going to be the inverse of this? So yeah, that's very exciting to see. But yeah, long story short, they get there. Very funny. They get up the elevator, and Hades has to like walk all the way, clink, clank, clink, clank, clink, clank, all the way to them.
Hello.
Hey guys, I'll be there in a few seconds. This is really awkward.
And drink or snack, and Grover's like, oh well.
Yeah, I'm kind of parched.
Where's my mom?
Exactly.
Bitch.
Automatically, where mom? Percy, Hades like, okay, straight to business.
Grover's like,
by the way,
3 days.
I like some of the fandom has said that Hades comes across very flamboyant. which is very funny because if Hades is gay, it makes sense why Nico, who my favorite character in the Percy Jackson series, Nico. The spoiler for Nico, we kind of talked about him last week in terms of him maybe being in the casino. He is the demigod of the underworld of Hades. He has dark powers, which are amazing. We'll get to those powers later on. But I used to want to be the son of Ares because Ares is the demigod of Ares have really cool abilities, like powerful weapons and the ability to be agile and fight like Clarice. Yeah. But Hades also has some really cool underworld powers. So you can traverse at night like Nico does. He can like not nightcrawler teleportation, but like if there's a shadow, he can seep into the shadows and teleport. Basically, it's really cool. And he can summon the dead as like your Aragorn. It's really cool.
Demon power, baby.
Right? It's so cool. But then there's Poseidon, of course, Percy, which you can control water, and you're pretty awesome as well. But anyways, my brother, I think, what did my brother want to be? I think he wanted to be either Hades or Athena, demigod. Because Athena is intelligence, and then just like if you're smart, you can kind of outwit your way out of anything, which is really cool. Either way, that's another subject for another time. Nico is also a gay character and has a crush on. Should I say this? Whatever. Spoiler alert. We're already into spoilers, so fuck it. He has a crush on Percy, and that whole dynamic is very interesting in the first, 5 books. Whenever we see Nico, he's introduced in the 3rd season.
Should I ship it? Does it go anywhere?
No, not at all. Because Percy has Annabeth. And Percy, there's also some other love interests besides Annabeth. I'll just say that. Not for Percy. Percy's always going to have hard eyes for Annabeth. But there's going to be some people who like Percy. He's a good-looking kid, I guess.
You're a teacher. Should you be saying?
I know. I'm fired. This is why the podcast here, we get rich off of this podcast. We get so much money from YouTube and ads and everything, right, Nathan? Right, Nathan?
Just the Larry David of it all.
Yeah, we're just raining in dough with this podcast. That's why the longer we go, the more money we make. That's why we just spitball over here.
The amount of times I've struggled with rent in my life.
I'm kidding, but yeah, just in general, I'm excited to see Nico and all the crazy hormonal stuff that happens with all these teenagers in later books. It's great. Yeah. It's funny because people are having conversations about like they hate this Rachel character. I'll just say the name Rachel. There's a certain romantic interest, not that one. Romantic interest involved with that starting in the 3rd book. People are excited for the 3rd book because we get introduced to Rachel, Talia, Nico, Bianca. Exactly.
How many Batman characters are pulled? Rick Riordan.
A lot. But yeah. Anyways, so this is always where people get confused in the 1st book, and I remember as a 6th grade teacher, people who read Percy Jackson in the 6th grade English class, they get confused about this moment here because there's a lot of info dumps and a lot of different plans and people who think they know what the other person's plan is. So let's break it down here. Percy goes to the underworld. He thinks Hades started the war. He announces to Hades, "Hey, give me my mom." Hades is like, "Well, what I want from you is," or Percy says, "I know you want the Mashable, but I don't want to give it to you." Mm-hmm. Hades is like,
Nani?
I don't care about the Mashable. Percy's like, of course you do. You and Ares work together. You steal the Mashable, you take it. Poseidon and Zeus go to war. You like war or Ares likes war because of war. You like war because of death. Underworld, duh, working together. Hades is like, wrong, zip, zero, nada. I don't want that. What I want is my helm. And Percy's like, I don't have your helm. And Hades is like, well, I thought you did. And Percy's like, wait a second. If you don't want the bolt, then... And he flashes back to the dreams that he's been having.
Who was flickering the lights?
He's like, No, for hot to. No. He thinks it must be Kronos. Kronos must want the Master Bolt. I almost got dragged into a deep, dark pit. That must have been Kronos because he hates how Zeus killed him. Zeus's father is Kronos. All the gods. Zeus's father is Kronos, and a lot of the other fathers, or grandfather of a lot of these other gods. So Big Daddy Kronos is a Titan, by the way, not a giant. People get confused by this because the other Percy Jackson sequel series revolves around giants. But giants gave birth to Titans, who gave birth to gods, who gave birth to demigods. So the Big Daddy here is Kronos, the Titan. Play God of War, the first trilogy. You'll get into Titans and giants and stuff like that. Anyways,
time.
Not that one.
Not that Kronos?
I guess it's Kronos the god of time.
Yeah, I think Ares explicitly said that in the episode.
Did he say that? I always get confused. Kronos, God.
I have a character name after Kronos in Time Blazer.
First generation of Titans. Yeah, you're right. God of Time and the King of... Yeah. I just realized that the time aspect doesn't really come to effect in the book. That's why I was so confused.
I see.
But I guess that makes sense. God of Time because he's the first, I guess. Anyways, and hearing this, Hades switches his plan. He's like, okay, wow, now that you told me that Kronos might be a possibility here, and that's bad for all of the gods, now I need to keep the bolt so I can prepare myself against the oncoming threat of Kronos. Percy's like, no, I'm going to take your first deal, where the first deal was, I help you find your helm, you give me my mother, let me keep the Master Bolt. So he uses the pearl, the last one. Him and Grover use the last two pearls to get out of the underworld, with the mission being to find the helm.
Yeah.
If they find the helm, they can give that back to Hades. They can get their mother back, and then they can move on. But the big bad appears once they use the pearls. They use the pearls. They go to the beach. I thought this beach was the same beach from the book. Just a few hours ago, I realized it's not. So in the book, Rick Riordan had them go to the Santa Monica Beach. The Santa Monica Beach being, right after the casino, they get teleported to the beach where Percy gets delivered the pearls and all the other stuff at night, right? That beach, that Santa Monica Beach where he meets like the water nymph, that beach is where they fight Ares in the books. Rick Riordan changed it. In the books, in the show here, the beach is Montauk, which is where Sally and Percy went in episode 1, where they go, to be away from it all. They go to that beach to be away from it all. That's where, Percy and them met Grover, etc. On that beach. So it has more of a familial reference to Percy and Sally, of course, who are also big parts of this episode. And it's it's in New Jersey. So it's closer to Camp Half-Blood A and to New York, which is where they need to go at the end of this mission to deliver the Master Bolt to Zeus. But yes, Ares steps up because who else might have the helm? Who might want to frame Hades for starting the war? Ares. Who wants to stop Percy from delivering the Master Bolt to Zeus? Ares. Who's working against everybody? Ares. Who is he working with? We already spoiled it. He's working with Luke, but they don't know that yet. So we'll get to all those reveals in the finale here. I cannot wait. The Percy fight with Ares is one of my favorite fights in the books. In the book, first book, when Walker got cast, he said he cannot wait to fight Ares. He gets to fight Edge, the wrestler, so that's very fun. The fights have been pretty minimal compared to the books. Has been a slight complaint for me. Like the arch fight, it was a bit extended in the books, but in the show, it's just like bing bang, I get thrown off the arch. So we'll see how it gets adapted here. Hopefully they take their time, but they only have like 40 minutes in an episode, unfortunately. So it might be minimal, but I'm excited to see what they do with the fight here. That's what we'll see in the finale. But let's break down one of my other favorite scenes. Lastly, this Sally and Poseidon scene that kind of skipped through here. The flashback starts off, first of all, with Percy refusing to go outside, refusing to go to his mother's wishes here. He wants to stay in the car. He doesn't want to go to another school. But Sally gets out of the car and says, "You have to do this." And Percy, from his perspective, thinks his mother hates him. He wants to push him away, basically. Yeah. Cut to the diner scene where he admits this, saying, "Why do you hate me? Why do you want to go away from me?" And Sally's like, "I don't," but she can't tell him the truth about these gods and monsters.
She didn't even speak. She was like, "I'm gonna go pay."
Yeah, you're right, which is great, right? Like, she didn't
which
even
I'm like,
say something. Say something. But it's so hard. I think as a mother, if she starts speaking, she would break down probably. Just the guilt of it all, the sadness of it all. And that's why I think she nearly tears up here. And then, as you said, she sacrifices somebody's forgotten cupcake, muffin, whatever it was. Into the Sunday. You hear the rain start coming down. I love the ambiance of this scene here. You hear the rain coming down, walk through the door. It's John Cena. And I was like, wow, no.
Oh, shit. It's the real Aries.
And we get Poseidon here. And man, wow. This was a unique scene, not in the books whatsoever. And I can see why. It's not really relevant. Wait, sorry. Let me reword this. It's extremely relevant, but it's not like, how do I phrase this? It's not extremely necessary because she's doubling down on things we kind of already know, right? We already know that she doesn't want to say goodbye to Percy. She loves Percy. She wants Percy to be away from it all. But seeing her confront this, speak it out loud, and speak it to another character was very fulfilling and very emotional. And it drives home how special Percy is and how special he is to the narrative of this series, how effective Percy is as the main character. People always talk about this and why, it's a quick tangent, but why I like certain main characters more than others. And I see this a lot in anime and in good storytelling where certain main characters are there to, of course, effectively drive the story, but there are certain main characters they're just there to stay in fights. I'm trying to give you an example. I can't give a bad. I'm gonna give a good example at least. Naruto is a good example. How effective he is to the theme of the story about like working hard, believing in yourself, that kind of notion. Naruto is very effective towards that. Aang is a very effective main character in terms of like the ideas of friendship and stuff like that. But and Percy is a very effective main character because he embodies this main notion of the series. This isn't just all about like, hey, demigods versus gods. No, it's about Percy being true to who he is and how that wouldn't be possible without Sally. And because of this, because of him retaining this identity, that makes him so different from any other just normal demigod, like Annabeth or like Luke, or any other demigod, Nico, for example. Percy gets to retain his sense of self before he gets warped into what the gods want him to be, which is exactly what Sally says here. She admits to Poseidon here in a beautiful line that I put in my notes. I want him to know who he is before your family tells him who they want him to be. Beautiful line here. And I like Poseidon's, how do I say this? Comfortability, cadence. Yeah, with just like she's afraid to say it at first. And then he's like, well, you have nobody else to talk to, literally. And you can just tell your thoughts to me. I won't tell anybody, basically. And she admits these feelings. And that's why she says, I don't want him to go to camp. Because she wants him to experience the hardships and the benefits of school life. And we know school was bad for Percy. He was bullied. He was made fun of. But he also found Grover, right? There's a complexity to all this. Like, it wasn't, she just didn't put him into hell. Into the other road. She put him into a place where he was able to grow, identify himself. Because Percy, who he is, was a person to quickly identify Grover as a friend, protect Grover, and protect himself, right? And from these bullies before he even know who Grover even was.
Yeah.
He was a very nice person. This was because of Sally and because of what she made him experience and the lesson that she taught him. So I love that whole notion here, and it's sad for her because she wants to stick with him. If she had her way, they'd stay together all the time, but it's dangerous in that space. And given space between her and Percy makes him more safe. And because she said the more we're together, like these monsters are going to start coming on faster and faster. In a school, he's kind of like protected in a sense. Before he's not. But it was just really riveting conversation, really impactful conversation. I just loved the hell out of this conversation. Very well acted. Even when he says, what does he say? She says something along the lines of like, the other gods would never appreciate it, or the other gods like wouldn't like it. And you hear like thunder strike. Like if Poseidon was like to go say, do you want to go say hi to your son?
Yeah, there's a thunder strike.
And there was a thunder strike. I'm like, that alone kind of embodies like, is Zeus watching this conversation? Is he forbidding Poseidon from doing this? Maybe he's not, but just that ever looming threat of like the gods don't want you to have it. He shouldn't have had this kid in the first place. Percy's a mistake, but a beautiful mistake. So just that whole happy accident. There we go. So I just love that whole conversation.
I feel like it's bad to also like call a kid an accident.
Yeah. Either way, we're happy that Percy's alive, that Percy is the way he is. Because if he wasn't, then we wouldn't have a story. But Percy just wouldn't have impacted these characters so beautifully. And I mentioned a moment I skipped over real quick was that Grover, because the show cemented that he knew about Percy's mom, after they found the boat, they could have easily just left and used the pearls and got out of there. But he says, screw the mission. We're going to go save your mom. And that's when they went to go get to Hades. Like, that's because of Percy and Grover's relationship and how that evolved. So stuff like that is just really paramount to why I love Grover and Annabeth. And I love Percy. And I cannot wait to see how they construct this finale. It's going to be very interesting. If you watch the previews, you can see Ares carrying the helm of Hades, so he has it. So, yep, it's going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a fun encounter, and I cannot wait to see what's next here.
Surely, Percy cannot beat this man in a sword fight. He must use the waves.
What are you talking about? Percy's a skilled duelist, Nathan.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm kidding.
Ares only has millennia of experience.
Exactly. What's a few millennia to 12 years? So you're right, but we'll see how that works out. It's very fun.
Is that going to be the only fight? Didn't you say the movie fight with Luke didn't happen in the book?
No.
So I'm looking at that.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in the show at all either, I would assume.
I forgot. What happens with Luke? Are we just like, hey, we got you, and he's like, you meddling campers.
No. Spoilers for the finale, because we'll get into detail here. But he says Percy's getting ready to leave. They say today, spoiler. But the conundrum at the end of the season is like, do you want to stay at Camp Half-Blood, or do you want to go back to school, Percy? Percy takes a long time to decide. Luke's like, Percy, let's take a walk. And Percy's like, okay, cool. I think I need help. Luke can help me decide what to do with my life, my future. They're walking. They sit on top of this rock. I'm the Half-Blood Prince. Yeah, that's a great scene. But how have we not done Harry Potter commentaries? Anyways.
When do we set that even? I
don't know. Let's do that 2024 fall. I know it's January, but let's do that the fall season.
I'm gonna drag you into Fantastic Beast. You can't stop me.
I will. I just won't show up. You'll set up the stream. I just won't be there.
You'll feel bad for me being alone.
Yeah, I probably would. Fuck, I'll watch it. They're bad movies, but we have the most fun.
Maybe not as bad as you remember.
They're bad. We'll have the most fun watching bad movies on the stream. Polar Express was crazy. Not that Polar Express is a bad movie. I love Polar Express, but we went off the rails.
We got demonetized instantly
because of you. I blame you. You said some bullshit.
I blame you. We both said some things that I think is okay. Which is YouTube didn't think it was okay.
Okay, kid-friendly motherfucker, man.
I'm not trying to be kid-friendly. I said all the videos is not for children.
No, YouTube's always trying to be like, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, they sit on top of the rock, Percy and Luke poisons Percy, paralyzes him, I believe. And that's when Luke goes on his monologue, being like, "The gods hate us," which I think Luke is also an effective antagonist because he kind of continues on this notion of how what Krusty is saying here, how the gods manipulate us, they shape us to who they want to be. But Krusty is saying this as like a demigod kind of neglected, while we know Luke has a much deeper emotional connection to it all, given that his mother was a human who went through some mental health issues because she could see the monsters. So that idea, which we didn't know about to book 4, about what Luke was going through with his mother. So I believe that we'll probably get some flashbacks if the show continues delivering on these unique show-only flashbacks. We could see a flashback between Luke and his mom. That'd be very heartbreaking. But yeah, Luke comes from a more emotional perspective, being like, the gods neglected me. I nearly died. They don't respect me. And it's a very emotional scene. And then Percy, especially like the betrayal of it all. And Percy just can't physically move. He can't do anything. I forget who saves him. I forget how it unfolds. But yeah, it's a great scene. And then Luke walks away. Yeah. And I think Annabeth might be gone by this point. So not gone, but she goes. So she goes somewhere. So I don't think she gets to revel in the Luke betrayal. But
didn't you say she has a crush on Luke?
She does. But the show hasn't really delved on that. So maybe in season 2 they might go that route. About like, I used to have a crush on him before I met you, Percy. I don't know.
So we're gonna get more Luke post this season. You think?
A lot more, starting in book 3, which is why book 2 is a lot of people's. No, never. Never. Which is why book 2 is a lot of people's least favorite because we don't see Luke again until book 3. I don't think so. I might be an idiot and it can't. I'm reading book 2 very soon, so I'll give you guys a heads up on it. But I don't think we see Luke again. And it's another Grover, Annabeth, Percy story. We meet Percy's other brother.
There's a Cyclops in it, isn't there?
Cyclops, exactly. That's his brother. And then that's pretty much it. I never was super fond of sea monsters, even though I liked the sea and the traveling on sea. I'm a big ship guy. So, yeah. And Grover gets to wear a dress and sing in the finale of the book, which is really crazy. And the actor who plays Grover is really excited to play that part and pick out the dress because he wants to be the dress and distract the monster. It's really funny and goofy.
King Kong style.
Basically. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Our thoughts on it. I'm excited for this finale. I've been liking this series a lot. I see more and more hate for this series as time goes on, but I'm loving this series. Not hate. It's from the same person, but I go on my For You tab, and it's the same person.
Mute him.
Why? Why?
I haven't seen anybody on my timeline talk about it. Okay. I mean, that's just my algorithm. I'm not really looking for it, but
I hashtag it. I scroll through the hashtag, and then once you scroll through the hashtag, it's all over your For You tab. Thank you, Twitter. So yeah, I really love this show, the dynamics, the themes. I really hope the finale nails it. So yeah, I think maybe you should watch the finale and the documentary before our next stream, so we can talk about both next time. Yeah. If the documentary drops tomorrow, we'll see. But before we leave, there's some other quick movie news that I want to discuss. That I want to get out of the way. First off, we don't have to, maybe we do have time 204. I'm not doing anything tonight. real quick, Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan and
Ryan
Coogler. Ryan, there we go. I was like, what's his first name? Ryan Coogler are reteaming. Now, 2 weeks ago, we were just knowing this was a genre movie. Now we know from Jeff Snyder and some other reporters, this is going to be a vampire flick with Michael B. Jordan reuniting with Ryan Coogler. They worked together on Fruitvale Station, which I have not seen because it's sad.
Right. I want to see it.
I want to see it so badly, but I know how it ends. I've seen the ending of the movie, and it's sad. And then Black Panther, of course. And then they reunited with Black Panther Part 2 because he was kind of in the movie. He was in Creed, which is one of the best movies of all time. And now they're reteaming. This is super exciting. And on a vampire genre movie, we haven't even really done this kind of genre for Michael B. Jordan or for Ryan. So if it's horror themed, that'd be cool. But it could be a vampire action movie. You never really know.
Right.
But just I like how we're in the era of unique vampire movies. Michael B. Jordan's doing one right now, I guess, with Ryan Coogler.
That's why Demeter is your favorite, right?
That's why Demeter was amazing. No. Nosferatu is coming out later this year in December.
December. Fuck. Wait.
There's a is it Kathy Yan or who did Eternals?
I think it's
Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao. Kathy Yan did Birds of Prey, right?
Yeah. Is Chloe Zhao doing a vampire movie? Chloe Zhao, Dracula. Let's see. It's still in development.
Was that like the Universal Pictures Dracula?
Sci-fi Western Dracula film with Chloe Zhao. Last update was in March of 2023. Is this still happening?
Where's the Wolfman?
Wait, where's the Wolfman? So yeah, anyways, I'm just saying we're getting a lot of Dracula stuff. Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler. It sounds very cool. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Like anything those two team up with is obviously going to be magic. And it's going to be vampires. Like I'm all about the supernatural horror, especially when it's like specific creatures like vampires, werewolves, stuff like that. I'm all in. They can do no wrong. If anything, it's just going to reinvent the wheel to something so fresh.
Exactly. Other big movies that we have not talked about. Tom Cruise made a deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav. So much so that Tom Cruise apparently has a office on the lot. Let me see here if I can find the let's see, Top Gun 3. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm trying to see. So yeah, David Zaslav is teaming up with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, though, still has a number of movies on the pipeline with his Paramount team with Christopher McQuarrie. If you're a big Tom Cruise fan like me, you will know that Tom Cruise and McQuarrie, I've already talked about doing a number of projects past Mission Impossible 8 together. They're going to do Mission Impossible 8. There was an action film they want to do together, some kind of musical maybe, some other original projects. There's still a Tom Cruise teaming up with Doug Liman for a space movie that might be happening still. So we'll see. And then digging into the product here, some people said that Cruise is not happy with the way Paramount dealt with a number of issues, like Top Gun Maverick. He had to lawyer up to get that bigger theatrical run. What's it called? And then what happened with Dead Reckoning? He kept wanting to push the release date, and the release date pushes were not. Let me see here. The release date was pushed 4 times. Ultimately, he said the movie lost more than $25 million. So yeah, either way, tensions were high for Tom and Paramount. But he wants to work with WB. WB is hoping to get Edge of Tomorrow 2 off the ground with this deal. Now, this deal is not going to be automatic. Again, like I said, he's a number of projects coming up with Paramount. And some other stuff coming up. This Warner Brothers thing is probably going to be a year or 2 away. But like I said, they want to do Edge of Tomorrow. They want to do other big movies with Tom Cruise deep into his 60s, because Tom Cruise is 61 now, I think. So it's going to be very interesting. But
he's got the money to keep his health up.
For sure. You've seen Edge of Tomorrow 1, right?
Yes, I remember famously, on my last day of school that year, I went to go see the IMAX of Edge of Tomorrow, followed by a second screening of Days of Future Past. It's a good day.
That's a great day. Wow. I wish I saw this in IMAX. I saw it in theaters. I loved it. It was one of my favorite family movie-going experiences. Called my mom, dad, Jalen. It was always rare to go see it with both my parents, but we were shocked how much we loved it because the trailers were awful, notoriously.
I remember hearing that.
You don't remember that? Like,
I remember the trailers, but at the time, I don't think I was of a mind to be so critical of what it makes a good trailer.
Fair enough. You were like 8 at the time.
Oh, I was like what, a freshman, sophomore in high school.
Yeah. So this was 2014. Was this summer 2014? Maybe
June-ish.
June. So yeah, this was summer 2014. I was getting ready for my first year of college. This was me finally like getting into trailers, and for me, I never saw Oblivion, but it looked just like the Tom Cruise Oblivion movie. I was like, oh, another Tom Cruise sci-fi movie. And I was like, oh, is it also going to be him going back in time? And like, oh, so is this just like Jake Gyllenhaal's Train movie, which I wasn't a big fan of.
Was that Source Code?
So I wasn't a big fan of Source Code, but I rewatched it recently, like a couple years ago. Really liked it.
I really want to. I loved it. I fell in love with it when I watched it. I want to rewatch it.
Let me put it on the commentary list because it's been a minute since I watched Source Code.
I think it's only 90 minutes as well. It's pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah.
Source Code. Okay. What did we just talk about, by the way? Oh, Harry Potter. Yeah, so, but then, of course, we both ended up loving Edge Tomorrow. So, Edge Tomorrow 2, Doug Liman wants to do it. Tom wants to do it. Emily Blunt wants to do it. They've always wanted to do it. But whenever I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, but when will schedules make it so? Emily Blunt's getting busier and busier. Doug Liman, didn't he just get a new project recently? Doug Liman, I forget what it was, but I think Doug's doing something now.
Chaos Walking's Doug Liman.
Exactly. What's he doing? Doug Liman. Roadhouse is coming out this year. That was Doug Liman. That's why I just heard about him. Cool trailer, by the way. I like the trailer.
I saw it buffer in front of some football.
I never saw the original Roadhouse. Let me put that on our commentary. I don't think
me either. With I think it's Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. So yeah, we'll talk about that. But anyways, so yeah, that's Tom Cruise, WB working together. Tom Cruise now working with Paramount, WB. This was an interesting partnership because WB had an awful year press-wise last year with all them cutting streaming, cutting all these shows. So it's interesting that Tom Cruise want to work with a group like that, but it's Tom Cruise who usually gets his way. Same thing for the Michael B. Jordan thing, going back to it. There are a number of bidders who wanted this movie. Of course, it's Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler. Apple was high up there. WB was high up there. And I believe Universal. Jeff Snyder recently said that WB is currently closest to capturing this deal.
Spending that Barbie money.
Probably. But it's just interesting. WB is setting up to have a great year this year with Dune, other things. Something else is coming out for this year. WB should be having.
WB's always got something.
I'm just completely blinking right now. It's midnight. So they're cooking with that. Oh, Furiosa is coming out this year. Dune's coming out this year. There's other stuff that WB is cooking this year. But yeah, I'm like, after last year, where people on the press and on Twitter were just like, who would want to work with David Zaslav after all of this chaos and messiness, like Batgirl craziness? Apparently, somehow Hollywood just still stick with WB.
Could this
I don't know.
Based on how adamant Tom is about film, do you think this could spell for good internal conflict in the favor of the audience? For Tom fighting for things? Yes.
Yeah, I think Tom's always going to get his way most of the time. One thing, he really understands cinema so well.
Do you think he ever flashes his box office? Like, just like, I know how it works.
Yeah. I mean, but Tom has his number of bombs too. The Mummy. I don't know how much say he had in that one.
Right. Well, I think, from what I heard, he beef up his role to be more.
Did he?
More like action.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Like basically turning the Mummy into Mission.
But speaking of Tom Cruise, Top Gun 3 is also in the works. Now, this is unique because, and this has been picking up steam ever since the announcement here. Let's go see it. Joseph Kosinski is now back to return. So let's see here. Top Gun co-writer Aaron Kruger is penning a script for what would be a new installment, and sources say Maverick director Joe Kosinski would be returning to direct. Puck first reported the news of Kruger's involvement. The intent is to reunite Tom Cruise with his next-gen co-stars Miles Teller and Glenn Powell, coming off of the rom-com sensation. Just kidding. It kind of is, though. This comes days after the WB Discovery deal. But again, the actor was releasing films at Paramount and other things. He still has a working relationship with Paramount, and this is definitely one of them. It's just so interesting to me because all throughout 2022, after the huge success, especially during the Oscar run, people would always ask him, would there be room for another installment? And he would always say, like, if the story's right. And it seemed very, like, decline of that. Like, this one was just a perfect scenario. We won't do another one, but, you know, of course, nothing is official yet. Cruise is working on Mission Impossible 8, and there's development on other projects, of course, but you can see why Paramount would definitely want a Top Gun 3 after the huge success in 2022.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't think it was something that would ever happen. Which it tends to be like a lot of. That tends to be how it goes with like many years later sequels. It's just like, all right, boom, it's a quick bookend. Hopefully we stick a landing.
Exactly. So hopefully we'll see what happens here.
But of course, this is also a scenario where, like, even though we had such a heartfelt core story with, like, Goose's son, the scenario they're in is like this isn't the only mission they'll ever fly. There's many more missions you could have, getting new recruits with the same old team, different dynamics. Maybe you have like a bigger team that splits into like Group A and Group B. I don't know. Anything's possible, and especially when every time they have a villain, it's always nameless opponent. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's a good point. But there's also other things they could do. Imagine a bigger cast as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but maybe keep it small. Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. Other things that happened this couple of weeks ago, January 10th, but we didn't talk about it last week. Star Trek updates. Star Trek 4.
It's been 84 years.
It's still in active development. I know it's been 84 years. I really want my Star Trek 4. It's in active development. But the big news was that a new Star Trek movie is in the works with director Toby Haynes, who just came off of directing multiple episodes of Andor, to direct. This is going to be described as an origin story set decades before the 2009 Star Trek film. So they're keeping it in the Kelvin timeline. So we're getting a prequel to the Star Trek Kelvin J.J. Abrams trilogy. Before a fourth one? That'd be weird. So that's what people asked the question, and other insiders now have said 4 is in active development. The latest announcement is that there was a Kelvin film prequel, and then Patrick Stewart also claimed the script is being written for a Picard movie. Those are the next in line
Picard movie.
Star Trek movies. Along with that, Star Trek Discovery.
Sorry, we're talking like a brand new casting of Picard.
No, his Picard from the TV show Back to the Movies.
So still Patrick Stewart as Picard?
Yes.
I was like, hey, if you want a Kelvin timeline Next Generation,
that'd be really cool. I wouldn't mind that. You're right. So yeah, those are 3 movies seen to be in development. Again, the latest announcement was the prequel, though.
James McAvoy's Picard.
That'd be fun. Full circle, baby. So that'd be fun here. Yeah, me and you are just big Star Trek fans. I don't think we ever watched Star Trek movies on the commentary, so let me put that on the list.
Yeah, on the list for sure.
It's on the list. But again, my list got deleted, so I'm just adding stuff that was already probably on here.
Scroll up in our DMs, like you said.
I tried. It took so long, Nathan.
Took so long. How long? How much did you talk?
I don't know where it is. I keep scrolling. It took me forever. I couldn't find it.
No.
Don't do it now because it's gonna take you 5 hours.
No, it's not.
Okay,
I will find it. I will find it before 12:10.
I couldn't tell if it was in our old Hyperspace hype or our other. Was it just me and you, Nathan, or was it me, you, and Carson?
Just me and
you.
Was
this you? I don't know.
It's an MCU quote, by the way. Haha, gotcha.
Is it just me and you? Is it everything quote? It's a life quote.
It's a Spider-Man Homecoming quote.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Because Peter kept sneaking out and shit. And
just shut up. Just shut up.
Just get your fucking data brain out of here.
Your MCU quote, motherfucker. Now.
I'll throw another one right now, bitch. Don't test me.
So yeah, that's Star Trek. I love the Star Trek movies. The Kelvin movies especially have really gotten me into Star Trek. I beg everybody listening to this, do it 2 hours and 20 minutes to watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's one of my favorite shows that I watched last year. Outstanding television. The first 2 seasons are fantastic. Third season is being produced or worked on right now. Hopefully for the end of the year release date, but probably early next year. I just want it so badly. Breeze into everything else. Invincible Season 2. No new trailer, but the series continues. Part 2 of Season 2 coming March 14th.
Oh, good news.
Yeah. So
you
found it.
I put no. Yes, but no. Not in our DMs, but I actually copied your list into my notes. So here you are, sir.
Wow. Awesome. Send that to me then.
Look at that shit. Look at that shit.
You copied that where?
It was in my Samsung notes.
Wow, you rock.
I was like, I never have written a note about Batman. So I looked up in my notes Batman, and there it was.
That's awesome. That's goated. What else? Scrolling through some other news real quick. Book of Eli prequel series with our boy John Boyega. Have you ever watched the movie Book of Eli with David or with John or Denzel Washington?
Denzel. I saw bits when I was young, like when it was like airing on HBO.
Would it be a good commentary?
It's biblical banger.
I forget. I remember being so bored growing up watching that movie. I saw it in theaters, but I remember being bored. There's some decent action. I didn't like the ending, I remember, but I was a kid, so maybe I'll understand it better now.
Yeah, I would like to go in with like main developed brain context.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it ends with the Bible, right?
Yeah, right. Something along those lines.
But post-apocalypse, so it's like introducing it. I don't know. I think isn't Eli blind?
Yeah. So yeah, John Boyega said the headline and executive produce, which is good. Book of Eli, a TV series prequel. Oh wow, wait, prequel. I don't know why I thought it's sequel. Yeah, TV series prequel to the 2010 film. He'll be playing a younger Denzel Washington version of Washington's Eli. Let's see here. That's pretty much all we have here. It's a neo-western that takes place 30 years after a nuclear catastrophe called an ecocide, which is devastation of the apocalypse of the economy. So yeah, he finds his way across a ravaged post-apocalyptic America while protecting a sacred book that holds the secrets to humanity, salvation, religion. So yeah, I'm just happy that he's executive producing. I don't know if Daisy is executive producing her next Ray movie, but I like this idea of a lot of these actors executive producing their work. It's becoming more and more prominent in projects these days, a la like Poor Things with Emma Stone, Barbie, Margot Robbie. People putting their foot in terms of executive producing their work. Tom Cruise always does this, but it's like I like that. I just like that idea, and I like John getting into some TV here. If you have not seen John's latest work, They Clone Tyrone, probably my favorite John performance so far.
Really?
Besides, of course, I love Finn, of course. But like his very interesting.
I still have never seen Attack the Block. I really need to.
To the list. I'm on a roll today. It's a great movie. Back to Block.
The fucking Secret Wars will be out. We won't have anything on that list 100%.
Oh, like MCU wise?
No, I mean like any of like of everything that's on the list right now, we will not get through all of it by that release.
Oh, you're right. Unless. So David Fincher has extended his contract with Netflix, by the way, which is great.
Okay.
Still to Mindhunter season 3. Tears.
I was watching our boy from our co-detective in the Iron Claw. I saw the Iron Claw.
Oh, great movie. Tears.
Yeah. How is Zac Efron this good, dude?
He's great.
It's so funny. Like I'm watching like multiples. Well, first off, I'm like, how the fuck is his jaw so square? It wasn't like that before. But then also, I'm like looking how like built he got for the role, and I'm like, this motherfucker was on Green Hills on Disney Channel, dancing, singing his heart out. Now he's fucking swole and still giving Oscar with it. Did Iron Claw get no nominations?
Zip, zero, nada.
It's insane to me, having watched it now.
It's insane. 2023 year was a stacked year, and I love actually the best actor nominees. Even though I have not seen Coleman Domingo's Rustin, I've seen clips, and I just know he's fantastic. So I don't know where Zach could squeeze into that best actor lineup, or even director. But I appreciate the movie so much.
There's really good cinematography in it.
It's gorgeous, yeah. Yeah, I would have squeezed in cinematography. Yes, I think Zach was just so good. The movie just came out at the wrong time, I think, to get some kind of awards buzz there. But Zach, the whole cast is great. Where Heartbreak Feels Good, the Josh podcast, we did some nominations of our own. That will be releasing soonish. I don't know when, later this year. We definitely gave some shout outs to Iron Claw, especially in terms of the songs as well. There's a song that Brother sings in the movie that I really love. Movie just wrecked my brain. I loved it.
Apparently, I heard in some research that they had to leave some stuff out, so it wasn't even sadder.
Oh God!
Did you know there's another brother that wasn't adapted here?
No! Oh my God! This family! Oh my God!
Another brother also lost of a similar way. Spoilers that Carrie was the last brother. So a lot of it was kind of like folded together in that sense.
Okay. Jesus Christ! What a tragedy. Yeah. So yeah, and then lastly, there's an Until Dawn movie from David F. Sandberg. I wanted to touch on this because David F. Sandberg is a horror director similar to James Wan. They're both coming off of DC projects. David from Shazam 2, James from Aquaman 2. James getting back into a horror with his new horror movie coming out, I think, next year. David is now doing an Until Dawn movie based off of the famous video game from 2015. I've never played Until Dawn. It's one of those games where campers go into camp, monsters come, and you get to decide characters' fate by making life and death decisions and choices.
That sounds so fun.
They're always so fun. I always watch this series because Until Dawn, there's House of Ashes, there's other ones. I would recommend watching Let's Plays. They're always so much fun to watch because it's like, do you go left or do you go right? Do you grab the gun or do you grab the tripwire? If you grab the gun, then this is going to happen later down the line. Or if you make this character stay here, they'll die here or they'll survive here. Or if you time something when a person jumps and a monster's just coming after them, they just fall to their death. Or they can grab onto the zip line. Like, you never really know here. Or if you want a character to die, you can miss the prompt on purpose so the character dies, which will change the story. Everything changes the story. So I heard those games are so much fun. I just realized that I have Until Dawn in my PlayStation Plus storage. So I can play it whenever. So definitely plan on playing it. Oh, me and you can play it together. I just started that. That'd be fun. What we always do in terms of what do we call it? Share play. There we go. Share play on PlayStation. That'd be fun to play together. making life and death decisions there in the moment. So
scary.
So I think we'll end it there. There's some Marvel rumors that we can save until later because it's probably not true. But yeah. And there's Avatar Netflix trailer that dropped last week. We'll cover Avatar stuff next week with finale of Percy Jackson and everything else there. Because this might be a pretty slow week at the movie news. Supergirl was the only thing that dropped today, and watch this week be big. Fantastic Four comes out tomorrow or something like that.
There was a Ghostbusters trailer today. I didn't watch it, but
I didn't watch it. I liked the first one, but this one keeps riding high on the nostalgia factor. But
as always, I need to see Afterlife.
Oh, we put on the list.
The first two Ghostbusters and Afterlife.
Honestly, yeah, we can do that. We can fit that in there. We gotta do Kung Fu Panda. Shit, we haven't done that yet.
We need to gear up on that because it comes out in March, so we need to.
March. Oh god.
It's trilogy. We gotta.
Yeah, we took our commentary break. We gotta pump we gotta start the engines.
Start your engine, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Hemsworth in the trailer.
Nice. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
He
doesn't say ladies. He says like boys, girls, and boys. I don't know. He said something different.
I think he said lady and gentlemen.
Lady and gentlemen, something like that. It was cool. Either way, my name is Evan. Harris EV9 is where you guys can find me. I don't know. I'm tired.
Hell of outro on episode 116.
Thank you. 116, episode 1 in my heart. Find me on Twitter at Harris EV9. I'll be live reacting. Well, after the episode, because I don't tweet during the episode, about Percy Jackson tomorrow. My thoughts on the finale will drop tomorrow. There's a PlayStation State of Play coming out Wednesday at 5:00 for games like Rise of the Ronin, and there's another one, something Blade, comes out.
Kingdom Hearts?
Could we see Kingdom Hearts 4? I'm putting on the clown makeup. I really want to.
Were they on Endor, Evan?
I really do think Star Wars is happening, and that reveal is going to be amazing. But so Kingdom Hearts 4, hopefully, the running theory for Kingdom Hearts fans is that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, it comes out at the end of February 29th. That's like the big Square Enix big game of the year, basically, for game in general. Once Square Enix drops that game, then they can do the full market push towards Kingdom Hearts 4, which is their next main title. I'm just hoping for a small tease. We got one small tease that Kingdom Hearts 4 is happening in 2022, and since then, crickets. It's been 2 years. So hopefully we get something there. But we're probably going to get Final Fantasy 7 stuff on Wednesday, all the PlayStation titles. People are hoping for Spider-Man 2 DLC. God of War sequel announcements. Probably not going to happen at all. But just big IP. Is Naughty Dog going to do anything there? Naughty Dog, are you still there on Earth to Naughty Dog?
What would you rather take?
Yeah.
I think I know what you'd rather take. What would you rather take? Uncharted 5 or Last of Us 3?
Last of Us 3.
Yeah. I don't even want to ask, of course.
But it depends. Uncharted 5, if you give me like their daughter going on a new quest, I'm just like, that'd be hard. That's just, oh man.
I need to know if Ellie's okay.
I need Ellie to be okay.
Is Dina okay?
She's not okay right now, but is Dina okay? What's happening to the child? JJ, I think was the name. I don't know.
Give Ellie some robot.
Man, I can't wait. Please.
You think she's losing the finger?
So yeah.
It's so
probably
far
not, to be honest. It's so far down the line. It's not. I don't want to diminish the cutting of the fingers because that was broken. She can't play the guitar, which signifies like a physical change to herself rather than emotional. But
I think
if they don't do it, I don't care.
I think if she is gifted a guitar by Joel, then it probably happens.
Yeah. But then is Bella going to walk around with a green screen on her hand or, a glove on her hand the whole season?
Just a couple sleeves of tape, whatever.
Good point.
Could. Russian
Yeah,
traffic on the.
Find me on Twitter, #CV9. Because I'm also tweeting about books that I'm reading. The new Star Wars book coming out tomorrow, Escape from Valo, from writers Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong. Wednesday also is the final issue of Dr. Aphra, which I adore so much. Final issue in Alyssa Wong's run.
Yeah.
I think they are very busy writing Captain Marvel for Marvel, and doing other like material. But I'm gonna be in tears because it's one of my favorite comic runs I've ever read. Up there with Ultimate Spider-Man, in my opinion. It's excellent. It's excellent. I know that's high praise.
Have you read New Ultimate Spider-Man yet?
I have not.
I want to.
I want to. I'll probably just buy it tonight and read it this week.
Is it on digital right now?
Yeah, it released the same day, digital as physical.
Okay.
I think it came out last week or 2 weeks ago now. But yeah, we'll read it.
Part of me was like itching of like it's a new series. Do I cop a physical?
Let me buy it right now, so I don't forget.
And the login. Follow me at _TimeBlazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-starring creative consultant Evan Harris.
That's me. Playing Ben.
Poster is ready.
Oh, hello.
Basically, it's just a matter of I'd want to wait to eminent trailer before putting that out because I don't want to just be like, hey, I posted another still again, and people are like, all right, give me some meat on these bones, and I get it. So things are developing, coming up. I'm very excited. Story-wise, development has just been wonderful. I need to get with you, creative consultant, and like clear some stuff.
Sure.
I should really use your title to the fullest. But yeah, loving this. I think an episode's going through a name change.
Oh, my episode?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was called Nick of Time, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. In hindsight of it. Kind of, but not really. And also, that's a character's name that's not the center of that episode.
Yeah, that makes sense then.
And a whole new episode being introduced that has a title, which I haven't unveiled yet. But yeah, all that. It's coming. I'm going to set up a stream, pull together some cast maybe. Be fun. That being said, if you enjoyed this, make sure to like button, subscribe now already, ring the bell so you miss future My Cup of Teas or other things. Hyperspace thing. And that being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.